Well, good evening, everyone. This is the Fun Table session, round 13. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts. And no, I will not keep this going for the entire session. I don't want to have someone go into some sort of issue with any kind of medical condition. So welcome to the Halloween edition of the Fun Table. We have several guests that are here. I see another one that's ready to go. And yeah, hopefully everyone's having a good Friday. And wow, this thing is really warm. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to doing this and having everybody here. And so this is our Halloween version of this. And yeah, if you're drinking, if you're not drinking, just kick back, relax, and we're going to kind of shoot the breeze for the next couple hours or so. And we'll kind of go from there. So let's get the guests in here. My first guest, let's see, gosh. My first guest I met at a extreme metal show. Even though I didn't know who she was standing right next to me at, gosh, that was a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And I've since seen her at other metal shows, and she's got a wonderful performance art background and an artistry background. I know she does some work with some film companies for translations, and she's just a really, really wonderful person. I've also seen her through Crypticon and some of the other horror conventions. So I'm going to bring in Sony Voodoo, and I got to take this up because I can't see. So let's bring her in first. Hi, Sony.
Hi, how are you, Mark?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and good evening to everybody that is watching us right now. It's a really good night.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I mean, it's such a crazy year where I don't get to see people, in person, but at least we can do this virtually. And
yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to start.
Yeah, when I was thinking about people, especially for this time of year, I was like, oh, Sony would be perfect because she embodies everything about this season. So yeah, I'm so glad that you're here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, let's start.
Okay, so let's see the second guest that I have. Oh, I got to get my light right. Here we go. She was a guest on the Alice tour on, let's see, the first leg back on June 1st. And she's been really fortunate that she's been able to do some photography down in California. And so a lot of us photographers are envious of that. And she has also been somebody that I've met through the concert scene and the media photography scene. And we have the whole in-joke about elbows, and she can't do that virtually, so I'm safe now. And let's bring in Erica Vincent. Hi, Erica.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Hanging in.
Yeah, so my elbows are fine.
Getcha.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm so glad that we finally got one of these dates to work out and everything. So
yes.
To be here.
Thank you.
And I totally understand, when things are, God, this stupid light.
Don't blind yourself.
Yeah, but when opportunities come, when you can be out there doing what you love doing, obviously it makes so much sense in the world. So, so it's great to have you here, and you're going to help represent the California scene and the photography scene and everything else that you bring to the table. So let's go to the sea. We have a third guest, and she is someone, gosh, I met her, oh boy, pandemic brain. I met her 2 summers ago, and she has been a guest on the Alice tour. She is a guest that was on the very, very first Fun Table session back at the end of July, which I actually think was a Friday, if I remember right. And she just released a new single called Team Player. And so let's bring in Mariah Belgrod. Let's see, here we go.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mariah. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. I'm doing pretty well, and I love your Eeyore.
Thank you. Any excuse to wear a onesie, I will take it.
Can you talk like him too, or?
I don't think so. Oh, I guess I do sound mopey a lot, but
Okay, well, yeah, thanks for doing this. It's nice to have you back doing this. I mean, I really didn't think the fun tables were good. I didn't have some grand plan. I'm going to do these for months. I was like, well, let's do these during the Alice tour and kind of see what happens. And then here we are, number 13 at the end of October, and I have next week already booked. So
that's great. I'm glad it's working out. It's a really fun way to bring different people together and just talk about different things.
yeah, just kind of hanging out with other creatives. That's the way I look at it. So thanks for joining me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we have a fourth guest who is also from, let's see, she was also on the Alice tour. She has also done 4 fun table sessions. And let's bring in Christy Anna Wu. Get this here.
Hello.
Hi, Christiana. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Awesome. Yeah, cool.
And how are things going over there?
Things are going okay. I have my teeth in today, so I might sound a little strange, like saying my S's.
Is this the first time that you're wearing teeth, or have you done it before for Halloween stuff?
I've done it before for Halloween stuff, but usually get used to the teeth. Yeah. Just have to take them out, when I'm eating or drinking something.
Gotcha. All right. So this is actually a first. I've not had 4 guests on at the same time on any of these fun tables ever. So this will be fun. And our 5th guest is joining us later because she has to work. So we'll kind of see where things are. We might be kind of moving in terms of who's here and who's not in terms of schedules and all that. I don't have a schedule, so I'll be here. And if other people are cool with hanging out, then hey, we can kind of keep on going as long as we need to. The record was 3 hours and 20 minutes, and you're not obligated to be here for that long. I'm just kind of saying that we're starting off at 7, and then Anissa won't be here till about 8:15 or so. So, and she likes her margaritas, so who knows how long we're going to go past that. But so just off the top of my head, it's so strange, but do people have any kind of plans for the actual Halloween day tomorrow? What are people doing?
Yeah, well, I will just deliver candy to the neighbors, to the kids that used to play with my kid. But we are not going to trick or treating, so it was just an idea to brighten the night of the kids, just to give away some candy to them. We already have some bags, and we are going to deliver to them. Social distancing and all. So it's gonna be just that and watch movies.
Nice.
Yeah, but we are not going out. Yeah.
Okay, and are you going to take the candy? Are you going to be tossing it to the trick or treaters, or?
No, I made a bag. They are in pumpkin bags, and I fill them with candy, and I will just leave them there with a note that it's for them, and it's all sanitizing and all that. So taking all the precautions, and it's just because nobody's doing that. Nobody's going out to trick or treat around here. So it was just an idea to give to the kids that are around here. Because my kid wanted to have a party, but it's not going to be possible, sadly. So it's just a way to celebrate. And we are going to watch some movies together, too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That sounds good. Anybody else?
I live in an apartment building, so unfortunately we haven't ever had anyone come by for candy or anything, sadly. So probably just be watching some movies, eating a lot of candy. We got a lot of bags of candy just to eat for ourselves. And yeah, just hanging out, quiet night.
Okay.
I
Anybody
don't
else?
think I have going on. I was supposed to be shooting a show tomorrow, but it canceled, so I was just going to be sitting at home watching some Netflix.
Okay. All right. And person down here.
Yeah. Got really no plans for tomorrow as well. Just gonna watch some movies.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to celebrate. What about you, Mark?
You know what's weird for me is that this will be the first time in I don't know how many, it's probably a couple of decades that I'll be home. Normally I'm not here on Halloween night ever. So I don't even know if we have trick-or-treaters around this area. I do see kids, that live around here. So I kind of figure some of them might still be coming. So I do have candy. I do what everybody does. You know, you buy what you like, so that way you can eat it and have the leftovers or whatever.
Exactly.
But I don't want to buy something I don't like. But I'm kind of actually curious to see, does anybody actually show up or not. And I'm probably going to do like what Sony's talking about. I'm not doing the bags, but I will have it out in a bowl with a note kind of thing, because I don't want to be touching my door and having somebody, some kid right in my face or whatever. But I also have my washer out there on my porch, so it might kind of look kind of trashy. So I don't know if anyone's gonna want to bother grabbing candy out of my bowl, but
they might think something's gonna pop out at them from the washer too.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. My one friend was saying, just kind of jokingly to me, that I should put out a bowl and just put the note on there and just put one piece of candy in there. And I'm like, well, because I was telling her, like, when I was growing up in the 70s and the early 80s, that anytime the rarity that somebody had a bowl of candy out there, someone just took it and just dumped it into the bag. They didn't just take one piece.
Yeah,
everybody did.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to be a jerk, but I said that is kind of funny if you just, because they're not going to know like how many candy pieces were in there and say, oh, there's the last one, they took it, and then someone sees an empty bowl, they figure they're all gone. But I have enough candy for whoever shows up around here, I think.
You can put a sign there, like you stay 1 or 2, or
and my kitchen window can actually look right out to my front area, so I suppose that could be kind of creepy and just stand there. Put this thing back on or whatever, and put makeup on my face. But
they'll be having nightmares.
Yeah, that'll be. They can thank me for that. Hi, Captain Blackwood. Hi, Tony. I see my mom. Hi to Pete. And this is Tony saying, this is my first Halloween in 8 years. I won't be shooting a show. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't think I've shot a show on Halloween, but I'm usually just kind of hanging out at other people's places or whatever. And yeah, doing the movie thing most likely tomorrow, I guess. And Night Stalker, good to see you. So we have some folks hanging out, and it's just I don't know anyone that's got like a elaborate plan tomorrow. I see some places that are trying to do like a social distancing kind of thing where you can go. I was like, it's just not worth it to me.
no.
Yeah, not for Halloween. Yeah, it's not worth it.
No, I think I wouldn't go. I'm trying to stay safe as much as I can. I just go out for the things that are essential, like groceries and all. But yeah, I try not to expose myself and my kid. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of like-minded here about that kind of thing. We're just kind of doing what we need to do, and if we are out there with opportunities, then we're just trying to be as safe as we can. But I'm not even like this. I mean, like I was talking to Erica pre-show, that I'm drinking this Christmas beer because it's been in my fridge. It's something I aged. I would love to go get some fresh beer from like a brewery, but I just don't want. It's like that's an extra thing. I don't need to do that. It would just be kind of nice to do it. And Captain Blackwood, we just came from the Alice show. Yeah, that's right. They're part of that big fundraiser for the next yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I think. So that's cool. I know I got an email from Sasha earlier this week, so we're kind of working on some things, and nothing solid yet, but there's communication going on for the Alice folks that are in the chat. What do you normally do on Halloween? Like, what did you do last year?
I normally go trick or treating with my son. And if there is any event with my adult friends, I try to go. But normally we hang out, we celebrate the whole month, like me and my kid. Like, he's into Halloween a lot. So we are like always watching movies, getting decorations and stuff like that. So this year is totally different. Like you say, we are not going to be out this year. So it totally changed the dynamic. And he was a little sad at first, but I mean, he understands, but he was having hope. Like, so are we going trick or treat? Like, no. And so, but normally we just go out, and then myself, I just go and hang out with friends. If there is a show there, like a metal show or a music show, I go to. It's always something to do. I think it's one of the popular dates that there is always an event going on Halloween. Yeah,
that's true, and it's got to be kind of nice with your son, because you get to live the holiday through him. Just kind of like for Christmas time, I would think it'd be kind of the same type of thing that I kind of forget about since I don't have kids. Even if I act like a kid sometimes.
Yeah, well, you don't need a kid to have fun on Halloween, but it's, well, since he's into it, I always make time for taking him out to trick or treating because it's something that he's always expecting and totally excited about it. And after that, we normally end up around 9, the latest. I normally just go somewhere else to celebrate or do something. Depends on the events that are going on that night. But this year, well, we are just staying home and change a little bit the dynamic.
Yeah.
Staying safe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody else remember what they did last year, or maybe a previous Halloween that kind of stands out?
Just working shows. I mean, that's been the hardest thing, is knowing that there's nothing going on this year. There's no shows. It's bizarre. It was always fun at shows getting to see all the costumes. Not
Sure,
even
yeah.
this year.
Yeah. Well, sometime I don't know when that's going to be. When things start coming back, because things are getting not good right now everywhere. But Mariah or Christiana, any Halloween memories that were like, oh yeah, that one year I did this?
Yeah, I really I'm a big foodie, so I always really enjoy making like Halloween snacks or things that are like really gory and just kind of unique, taking ingredients and kind of flipping them to be just Halloweeny. So I always enjoyed, like, we would go to a mutual friend's house and I would just be there to make the food. That was the costume and the food. Like, everyone else can be social, but I was like, I just want to make you guys yummy food. Like eyeballs and, like, I don't know, like spaghetti and meatballs with eyeballs and like strawberries dipped in like with fangs or little pumpkins on them and just cute things. That's always fun for me.
Did you ever do the glass cookies?
I haven't. No, there's so many things. Like, there's like the spider webs with the marshmallow that you can do too. Yeah, but that's a good one. I might just get some stuff and make some stuff this weekend for myself.
There's so much fun to caramelize the sugar, and just, you can make it any color you want.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, it is. That's how we wait to spend the Halloween night. So, yeah, making some spooky food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and you're an important person at a party if you're bringing all the cool food and stuff. So.
Right, exactly. Everyone wants to be your friend then.
Yeah, you can make a virtual party.
Yeah, you and the alcohol person. You're the two important people.
The VIPs.
Yeah, for sure. Christiana?
Yeah, that sounds so delicious, by the way. I think last year I went to a friend's haunted house party. So, like, it was, like, kind of it was very well decorated last year. It was like they went all out. They like blocked out their, all their windows. They like dressed their ceilings, and like their foyer was like just an entire array of like set design. And I was like, wow, you went all out. They had to like take everything out of their garage, because that was where they put that's their favorite holiday. So that's why they have like a bunch of they had just tons of decorations. I mean, we were just walking around being in this house, which was entirely lit up by black lights, and like that was it. That's all you could see. Like, you could see that and like people glowing, and but it was cool. It was really fun. Definitely none of those for me. Probably none for us this year. Yeah. No close quarters this year. Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of obviously where this is like, one of the first holidays, and we're moving to the other one. So we're just going to see what happens. And people just kind of have to relive what they did in the past and hope for the ones that they have next year, hopefully things come back. And Christiana, before we move on, is there a way to actually turn your volume a little bit on your mic?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm going to
just compared to the other people. I'm an old man. I can't hear things. So
how's this? Is this a little bit better?
That's better. Yeah,
is it like too loud? Is it too loud? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, it's perfect.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And I forgot to ask people. I know, Erica, you were drinking a White Claw, correct?
Sorry.
Nice.
No,
I'm ashamed.
Don't be ashamed.
It was that or eggnog and whiskey, and I figure people might get mad at me because it's not Christmas yet. It's Halloween. Come on. Mark took over that for me, so I don't know. I might do that later.
Okay. And is anybody else drinking? Well, what are you drinking? Alcohol or non-alcohol?
I'm drinking water.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to make some mojitos, but I forgot to. I thought that I still had some tonic water or club soda here, and I didn't have anything. I don't have anything, or mineral water. So yeah, that's kind of sad. So
I'm there with you. I have water too. I was considering. I like cranberry juice and Crown Royal
yummy.
apple, like green apple.
Mhm.
That's my favorite combo. So I might get myself one of those in a little.
Do it.
Yes.
Yeah, usually I'll have like a vodka something or other, but today I decided to bust out a Monster. I haven't had one of those in a while, but I was like, I need the fake caffeine boost, so I'm gonna
Yes.
sip on this. Yeah.
I was going to say, did you pick that because of the Halloween thing? You know, a monster.
Oh.
Kind of.
Oh gosh, I almost burped right now. And I was like,
So Mark, tell us about your Christmas beer. Who made it? What's the brewery?
yeah. So, okay. Most people that watch these know that I tend to have like 2 beers in glasses, and then I'll have like a third, sometimes a fourth or a fifth, kind of waiting on deck. So this time I'm going through. This is the first one. The second one's sitting here, and then all of them though are from Anchor, which is
Yes.
this.
Love Anchor.
And this is a
Good.
2016 Christmas sale. This is my favorite Christmas beer ever. And but the 2 that are in the glasses are from 2013.
Oh wow.
So I'm doing the aged beer thing, and these are what's kind of nice is they're not heavy on the alcohol. They're about between 5 and 6%. So having 3 is perfectly fine. Some of the other ones I have in my fridge, you know, are 12, 13%, which is still nothing compared to wine or spirits. But you know, with me being a lightweight, and I might start having issues where, you know, eventually you just can't see me, and you know, all kinds of shit happens. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm drinking Christmas beer on a almost Halloween event. So yeah, if Erica decides to break out the eggnog, hey, go for it.
I might.
Oh my gosh. Well, and for a few people, I mean, I kind of went through the introductions and stuff, but for some people that are in the chat or people that are watching this that don't do the chat part, just watching on the TV, can we kind of go around? God, I'm terrible at this. There we go. We'll go this way. About what do you do artistically? So like Sony, you're probably the one person too that people really don't know a lot about, depending on who's watching this on. You do a lot of stuff artistically. So can you kind of speak to some of that?
Sure. Well, I do performance art. It depends of the event, but normally I am like in the darky side. Like I do a lot of occult related or ritualistic performance, and I work mostly in horror conventions. But I do some local shows too sometimes. Well, when they are available and when they are on, and it's one of the things that I miss the most because I haven't performed since February this year. It was the last that I did in a convention in North Carolina for Mad Monster, and it was a lot of fun. But sadly, is when everything was started, and then everything got canceled. Sadly, so that's one of the performance that I do, or most of the performance, or the art things that I do. It's yeah.
Okay, yeah, and
Yeah.
I know that you've been doing like translations for a lot of horror films too.
Oh
Correct?
yeah, that's another thing that I do, and also for the performance side, I have working a couple of videos or some or 3 videos, like. So that's another thing that I do too, or that it's good to be a performer because I can get hired to be in videos, dancing, or just doing something else. I have done a couple of movies too, like independent movies. This is good. It has been fun. Yeah. And about the translations, well, I work for this company, Severin Films, and it's most exploitation movies or erotic movies, the ones that I haven't translated. But also, I haven't translating interviews that go as an extra features on the releases they do, like when they release a new restored or restored movie in a Blu-ray that it comes totally new. They normally add like really extra cool stuff, and they include interviews with directors or with people who have been involved in the movie. And I have done that too, like translated interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, I have been done them for about 3 or 4 years probably. So it's cool. It's really fun.
Okay, and you do so? Do you do the like from Spanish to English translations then?
Yes, I can do both, like English or Spanish, but mostly they come in Spanish, and I just add subtitles.
Okay.
It's mostly like for adding subtitles on the movies. Yeah.
You know what I just thought about? So I heard everything you said. I'm not trying to.
No, that's
derail
fine.
this.
Yeah.
That when we saw Mortuary Drape at the High Line, and you were next to me, but I didn't know you then. That you were kind of like your hair was getting in my face and stuff, and headbanging and all this. But I'm looking right next to you at Erica with her the whole elbow story that we've told before. So I'm kind of like, there must be some kind of issue with
in the
me.
way.
I know, I'm just in the way at the
I think that's what the takeaway is.
Yeah, I guess Mark needs to stay home.
So we were the three of us there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because that's how I got to know you, because you were there, and I saw you like at Marduk and some of those other kind of extreme,
Yeah.
black metal kind of things.
Yeah.
And then I met your son at Crypticon. I know last year he was one of the little Predators. He was in the Predator outfit.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So no, it's really cool. But yeah, I just thought about that. I'm always in the way.
No, that's fine. You need
Just
to
the
be
wrong
in the
place
way.
at the wrong time.
No, you
Yeah.
need to be on the way because you're always like filming or taking pictures, and that's good. Yeah, I always try also to be respectful of the people that are there filming or
Yes.
taking the pictures. Like, oh, they are doing like a great job, because I really enjoy to see professional pictures of the shows. Like, I mean, I can take pictures with my phone, but there is no way that are gonna look like that way. Like the people with a professional camera do, and it like after the edition and all that, it's beautiful, and I love that. I love to see the professional picture, so I try to be not to get in the way of the photographers. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I was gonna say Eric and I definitely appreciate
Very much so.
fans that are mindful of that and just trying to have a good time, but also realize we have a job to do. At the same time.
Yeah. Even sometimes I if I am like in the front row, I tell them like, do you want to be here? Like, so you can take like a better picture. Yeah,
So sweet.
Yeah, it's good. It's like I said, it's a really good thing, like to enjoy, if they are filming or taking pictures. Yeah. And it's hard because you get bruises next day if you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sometimes from your fellow photographer.
You walked into my elbow. You walked into it. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, since we're with Erica, why don't you tell people what you do? They kind of know some people, but there might be people that don't know what you do.
Well, I'm a concert photographer. That's how Mark and I met up in Seattle. He walked into my elbow, as you heard. And after that, it's like, okay, I like this guy. He's funny. He's cool. We always have like a good crew up there between Savannah and Mike Savoya and Neil, Chrissy Angel. I mean, it was a whole little sect group up there. It was amazing. But just moving around all the shows, I've been branching off lately and doing portrait stuff and band photography, like their promo shots. So that's been a whole new game for me, is actually using real lighting and not just relying on a lighting guy at back of house.
Yeah, I know when we did our interview, you were talking about that you had some of these things potentially coming up once it was safe to do so. And I think one of them that I saw that I really, really liked was, I think the artist was like a magician or something that you had done.
Yes,
really
Joseph
elaborate.
Riom.
Yeah, can you kind of talk about that shoot, what that was like?
Oh my God, that was such a fun shoot with Joseph. I know him through his brother. When he hit me up, he was like, "This is what I want to do." I was honestly kind of terrified. It's like, okay, this is a kind of a big name person. He's been on TV. He does cruises. I mean, he's a well-known person. Like, I'll do my best, but I don't know if I can really do this. But we went through this shoot, and it took us 2 or 3 hours. We had a videographer with us, and we did one studio where it was just the lights that you see, and then the second one was the rain room where we took pictures of him levitating.
Oh,
And
wow. That's
it
awesome.
was so fun. It was a brand new experience trying to capture the rain just right, and the lighting and him levitating. And we just caught some amazing shots that are forever just my favorites.
Yeah, I remember when you started posting some of those like on Instagram, I was like, holy shit, look at those. That's what I remember. You already do tremendous work anyway, and I saw that stuff, and it's like, man.
Yeah, I'm just hanging up my camera now. I'm done. I can't pass that. I just can't.
Oh, and I see in the chat Tony was talking about drinking Trog's Mad Elf. I've actually had that beer, Tony, through other means of how I got it, which I won't talk about. And then we need more people like Sony, which is really nice. And Tony, Sony is also another photographer over in the Pittsburgh area. So he knows our trials and tribulations of being at shows. So we appreciate fans like yourself. And then Tony saying, yeah, I love your work, Erica. So, yeah,
Thank you.
awesome. Let's go over, damn it, here we go. Over to Mariah.
Sweet. What I do, I'm a pop singer-songwriter, originally from Pennsylvania, but now the other side of Pennsylvania, not Pittsburgh, but near Philadelphia. And now I live in Seattle, Washington, and with my fiance, who is also a musician, and we write pop music. Yay! So, but it's been really fun. I also use an app called Smule. So I've built somewhat of an online presence through the app, engaging with like fans. You can record a song and then have other people join the other half of the song and kind of add harmonies or instruments or make it their own.
That's cool.
So that's been kind of a life-changing thing in my life. And I just love music.
Well, do you want to talk about your new single? And then aren't you doing a takeover tomorrow as well? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Plug away.
Okay. Well, my new single is called Team Player. Jeffrey and I, my fiance, wrote it a couple years ago over a Skype call. It's a really empowering song, especially for females, I feel, to just leave behind the players in your life and play on and just be an empowered woman. And I'll be doing a Smule takeover on their Instagram tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific time. So I'll be performing that live, an acoustic version, as well as just doing like a Q&A kind of hangout session like this, but just with me. So it's more fun having it with other people. But so I'm really excited to do that tomorrow afternoon.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember when we did I think it was your interview when you talked about Smule, which I was already familiar with because of you, back in January when we talked in person. Remember that when we could actually do that?
I know. It feels like forever ago. It feels like years ago.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about that, and that's when I went to Smule. And sure enough, there is your picture right there. So I did the whole screenshot thing and put it on Instagram. I was like, yep. And yeah, you have quite a following for sure on all platforms. I'm very well aware of that. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very grateful, especially to just have more of a community and like of supporters more than fans. I feel like I strive to be really engaged, and like I talk to a lot of my supporters and daily, and they're more of my friends and family now than anything, which is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. And last but definitely not least, Christiana.
Hello. I am Christiana Wu, and I sing for Paper Nova, which is a indie alt band. Definitely, we haven't really been practicing though this entire 7 months. So unfortunately, we've had to like pivot and like figure something else out. Which is just like buying some new equipment, like personal equipment such as like like drum machines and like synths and stuff like that, and trying to mess around with that and trying to like trade music digitally and just trying to figure out how to like layer stuff on top of that. But my main passion, I think, is actually in filmmaking. So I'm so I've done a few shorts and am currently working on writing a feature film, which I'm hoping to have a first draft done by the end of the year.
Nice.
Okay, and why don't you go ahead and promote yourself? I know you've gotten Alvin into some, don't be shy.
Oh my gosh.
Let people know.
So my first kind of debut short film is called Alvin, and it's about a man who receives free healthcare at the expense of his freedom. And it's kind of like finishing up its film festival circuit run, kind of like hopefully like by the end of November or so. But we are currently showing at Bleedingham Film Festival, which is virtual right now. The last day, I believe, is actually the 2nd of November, I think. That's all online. And then we'll also be screening at Seattle Film Summit, which is I think based out of Renton here. But that should run for like I don't know. I don't like. There's certain screening blocks. I think the whole event actually runs for like 22 days or something or other. But yeah, that should be it. And then we'll be releasing our film sometime in January.
How exciting! That's super
So,
cool.
thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know it's been such a passion project for you, and that when you start getting into some festivals earlier this year, well, not earlier, it's like summertime, I want to say, or something like that, and then you start getting some more this fall. That yeah, more power to you. And now you know that Sony's done some film work too. So if you ever need something, she's local. She's just north of me. And she's got a really cute son too. So if you need a kid,
Yeah, he's very ongoing. So. Yeah.
Or if you need some Spanish speaking going on in your film too, there you go. I mean, you got all kinds of some extra things there. And then
Thank you.
maybe Mariah can do some music for you, and I don't know, I'll take pictures or review it or something.
Yeah.
Then we have to get Erica up here somehow. I'll do it virtually.
Whole team here.
Yay. Oh yeah.
See?
A whole collaboration.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like I was telling Erica, it's been kind of cool that some people, even if it's just on a social media level, have been connecting after these things and kind of following each other. And some of them have actually started moving into talking about some projects and stuff. And then one of them came back to me. It's like, Mark, we should thank you for this. I'm like, thank me for what? I didn't even know what they were talking about or anything. Like, oh, we're going to work on this whole idea for this movie. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You don't need to thank me. You don't even need to tell me, really. It's just go be creative. That's awesome. I love that kind of thing.
It's been great seeing all the connections through how people are connecting now virtually. I just had a friend hit me up the other day, and I thought it was kind of neat. I took pictures of her and this other guy, and she told me we saw each other's pictures, and we actually started talking because of the pictures you took of us. We're dating now.
Oh, that's cool.
That's kind of awesome. I love it. She's like, so we got to have dinner sometime and thank you properly. Don't do anything.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, and like we've been talking about during not only these things, but during like the Alice tour and all that kind of stuff. Any of these kind of positive silver linings, things that you weren't expecting, it's awesome. It just kind of makes you feel good for the day, the week, the month, depending what's what's going on. Yeah. And I know, at least for me, I need those kind of things. I need them. If I don't get them for a long period of time, I feel it weighing me down. Like, there's got to be something kind of good happening, right? In the artistic world somewhere.
There has to be something.
Yeah, even watching like a live stream, even though I always have watched tons of live streams, and we're a part of one right now. But seeing one like from the Pacific Northwest Ballet and just reviewing it, even though I'm not there, it's not the same. We all know that's a given. But just seeing them do their thing, and it was new. I was like, God, this is what I missed. I forgot that 2019 into 2020, just like a school year, was supposed to be my year that I'm going to cover every show for them. So I started off in 2019. I think there's one in January of 2020, and then it just went kaput. And so now they're on to a new season. It's all digital. But I'm like, I hadn't even thought about that timeline. That I was like, oh yeah, I was so pumped that I'm finally going to be able to cover every single performance that they do. And then I was like, yeah, I just kind of went completely out of my mind once all this stuff took place. So we take the positives wherever we can get them.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool, like seeing how since the shutdown, so many people have turned to the arts as like a form of therapy. People who aren't even involved in like artistics, like whether that's just sitting down and watching a movie or creating like new, like a lot of people have started businesses on Pinterest or Etsy, with crafty things. So it's just cool and like reaffirming how many people are passionate about the arts, and it's coming out now.
I was reading that all these guitar companies, my friend works at Schecter, they had their best quarter ever because of the pandemic. And several other companies like Fender had the best, Gretsch has had the best, Tama's had the best. And it's like, I wouldn't have ever thought that. That's insane. But I guess it makes sense. And a lot of people are buying cameras, even just getting out there and shooting. I've had a lot of people hit me up. They're like, hey, I just bought a camera. Can you just teach me the basics? And we'll hop on Skype or Zoom or whatever, and we'll just go over basics and what to do and how to go from there and what they're wanting to shoot.
Good.
It's been fun.
Yeah, online. Everything is online now, and I think it's going to be like that for a while.
Yes, it's going to be like this for a while. But
yeah,
there are a couple more events happening little by little, whether it be legal or not. But they're trying. They're trying to give us some break in our sanity. So I have to ask everybody this, because I don't know. Mark and I were talking about this beforehand. Mercury retrograde, I don't know how real it is for you guys. How does it hit you guys the last 2 weeks? Like anything like super strange happening? No?
Not super strange. I mean, like I've definitely had like some things come to fruition finally, like in a positive sense, but nothing like strange. I mean, I did get my dog, so that's been a lot of strange happening on its own, but nothing like noteworthy, I feel. Who knows though? I'll knock on wood that nothing comes my way.
I just had electronics going absolutely haywire. It's been insanity to where at first I was like a little like, oh, this sucks, but now I'm just laughing because what else can go? I'm afraid to ask what else can go. I mean, we've had refrigerators, my car, 3 laptops, a desktop computer,
Oh my gosh.
email. I mean, it just keeps going and going. But I'm just honestly laughing about it now at this point. It's like, okay.
Rolling with the punches now.
Now that you mention, it's like my washer machine broke out like a couple of weeks ago. And then the dishwasher broke, and they are going to replace it next week. Now that you've mentioned that, like, wow, yeah, it's crazy. And it has been like in the last month. All that happened in the last month, like a couple of weeks. And it's crazy because when the washing machine broke up, I was like, all the clothes start falling off, and it gives me anxiety, and I hate it. But then, and also the vacuum broke too. Oh my God.
What the world?
Yeah, it's been like this seriously the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, for me it was all the appliances, but not the computer or anything like that, but the appliances, and it's like important, especially now that you are locked down. You are more time in the house, and I have
you can't find anything.
Yes.
No, so even if you try and find anything, you can't. For us to get a new fridge, everything's back ordered until the end of February or December. So we're living out of a little cooler, like a camping cooler, and a little dorm fridge that the boyfriend singer is letting us borrow for a while. I think we're just going to get a bunch of dorm fridges and live out of those for a bit. Because my boss is also offering us one. So
wow, that's crazy. And it's not something you prepare for, it just happens, and you're like,
We had just gone shopping the night before for like, okay, we're stocking up for a couple of weeks of food.
Yeah.
Gone.
The fridge is one of the most important things because you have all the food there and everything goes to waste. It's like you can't have certain things exposed without the cold for a while. So it's
Mark and I were talking.
What a nightmare!
Without a washer, that's even worse. It's just a mound of clothes. What do you do at that point? Just hand wash in the sink or shower? Or
I did that, and also it's just like it keeps accumulating there. And it's just give you anxiety, and it's also like, well, I cannot go. I can, but I will not risk myself to go out to a laundromat. It's like no, and also I don't drive. So it's like I can do it, I mean, I can. It will take more, like, complicated.
It would be an event to go do.
Yes, I'd rather wait until they fix it. So they already fixed it, but it took like almost 3 weeks for they to come and fix it. So
no.
Mark, how long are you up to? 2 weeks now?
2 weeks now. So Sony, if you didn't hear, my washer crapped out on me 2 weeks ago. It's literally out on my porch right now because I live in a rental place. So luckily my landlord's really on top of it, trying to get it fixed and everything. But just like what Erica said, things are back ordered, or you deal with some kind of shady people or whatever. That I posted this on Facebook that my landlord gave me a roll of quarters to go to the laundromat in case I need, which is really nice. It was super nice of him, but I'm not going to go there because of COVID. So I've had to risk things and go to the basement of my parents' house and do 1 load of laundry there, which is like, well, I guess I'm going to do this. And I thought that maybe by this point it would be fixed. But then, so Eric and I were talking about is that I thought, okay, if I kind of plan out another 5 days, what's the number one thing that I need? Because I've got tons of t-shirts, and pants, and all that kind of stuff. I need underwear.
That's
So
number one.
Yeah, so I have a box.
Yeah.
I bought some. So, but I don't know if that's going to last me now. So now I have to buy another box, depending on when I find out when the stupid thing's going to be ready. But it's and Erica and I were both talking about this too. Is that on one hand it's like, well, god damn it, but then on the other hand it's like, I know people have it worse, and this will eventually get fixed. It'll eventually be fine and go back to normal. But when it happened, it's like, oh shit, because I saw some water down there, and I said, this comes from my water heater, from my washer. Didn't know, and it just became a whole thing. That everyone's plate's already full, so it's like I don't want something else on top of that plate, and unfortunately there it is. But eventually it'll go away. So I'm kind of used to just seeing piles of clothes and crap. It's like there's the really dirty pile. There's the kind of dirty pile. I might be able to wear that again, depending on where I go.
Febreze, man, just Febreze everything.
Exactly.
I have it.
No one will know.
It's
We
so
won't tell
bad.
anyone.
A friend of mine gave me this, what is the name of those things? Matches that are incense matches. So you light them up and you sleep in there, and it smells really good, and you don't have to, burn charcoal or a whole stick of incense. So they come really, really good in, they are very useful for that. So I have my cats here, and when they go to the litter box, I use a couple of them. So that's a really good. I live in a small apartment too, so
Okay, no, I'll keep that in mind. I don't have.
that's really good.
I have regular incense. I don't think exactly what you described, but I do have something that might help.
That's really good.
Things get too smelly or whatever.
If it comes down to
Just
it.
throw them in the dishwasher.
I'll go old school and be like Pioneer Days or whatever. I can do that if I need to. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so hopefully for those that aren't dealing with this, Mariah and it's like Christiana's not dealing with anything. Hopefully it stays that way.
I was like, please, no jinxing.
I hope nothing else breaks, because it's like right now it's really difficult, and also you have to people who comes to fix those things, they have to be inside your house, and then you have to clean and light everything.
Stay out of my space. Yeah, I will.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, I was telling Erica the same thing prior to that when my landlord's awesome. He's one of the rare gems in the landlord business, I think.
Cool.
But he's been really mindful of anything that he does. But here we are trying to get to this little hallway where the washer dryer area is, and he's masked up and everything and trying to stay 6 feet away from me. But then he's like, Mark, I think I see where the leak is. So then I try to get close. I go, oh, wait a minute. And he's trying to get past me to kind of show me this whole comedy routine. Because of COVID, but I appreciate the fact that he's mindful of it. He could just come in here with no mask and not give a shit, and just get right next to me. But he's nothing like that at all. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to do the right thing, which is awesome. But it was pretty freaking funny of us trying to get through my hallway to constantly try to look at things, and he had to try to move it out. So I was like, "Do you need some help?" It's like, "Well, where am I going to go to help him move that thing out?" So. Yeah, it eventually got out there, but we'll see what happens.
Fortunately, nothing really in the last couple of weeks, knock on wood. But we did have our stove/oven unit pretty much stop working in April. So, and it took us 6 months to get it figured out, because it turned out that the power that was coming from the socket behind the stove unit, it wasn't delivering enough power. So we had 2 electricians come over. We had both sets of dads pretty much come over and take a look at it too, because that's what they want to do. They want to look at it and see how they can help and fix. But eventually we had the electrician come over, kind of rewire everything, and we have it finally working again as of last month. So,
yay!
That's good.
Yeah, it was just because we live in a flip, a very quickly flipped house. So it was actually a very messy job, according to the electrician. So somewhere in the middle, the wire wasn't the right gauge or wasn't the right width, and it melted. And then it wasn't a fire hazard, but it was I was kind of worried. So,
it's not something the electrical stuff isn't something you want to mess with for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some ways, it kind of makes you wonder what else is going on in the rest of the house if it was kind of quickly flipped.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my God,
that means that we can't. It means we can't have the toaster oven on and like a hot water like thing. You know, we can't like have two things on at the same time that delivers too much current.
Really?
Yeah, we would have to
terrible.
redo it again.
Wow.
Yeah, you need to be careful with that too, because if suddenly all shoots down, it can damage your other stuff. So.
Wow.
So you should have seen us like struggle. We would either use the microwave or the toaster oven. We had a hot plate. We bought a instant pot. We also got, we got like, all these things.
Everything.
And like even trying to like boil, make boiled eggs or hard boiled eggs, it would take like forever on that little hot plate because
Yep. Yep.
It made it that much more tasty though, because all the work that had to go into making it.
Exactly.
Like you're back in college.
Yeah.
Trying to get creative and find ways to get by.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Sony, I was just kind of curious about what are you wearing on your head?
It's this headdress that I found in a convention. Like there was this woman selling them there, and it just have some flowers and some beads there. It has a veil that goes and covers your face, but I pull it back.
Oh,
It's really ornate. I like it a lot.
Yeah, thank you. It's really cute, and it has more flowers like on the back, and it's like these horns. They feel like resin. I am not sure what material is. So she was selling out everything like really cheap because she said that she was going out of business, and I got it there, and I got another one that is huge. I had it downstairs. So I use them for performing mostly, or just for fun. And it has some
beautiful.
horn there.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. I kept kind of looking like, what's going on with that hat?
Yeah, it's like a devil, demoness devil.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And I know from looking at your Instagram, and I know this is from you as a person, that you tend to have like a lot of pictures of you like outside of your place. I think it's your place where you're kind of like showing off your whatever your outfit is for that day, and very stylized stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mostly take the pictures here, like outside or in the back garden. Well, it's not a garden, but in the backyard. I started putting more plants recently. With the pandemic, I started gardening. Well, trying. But I took the pictures here, and I just dress up. Or when some of them are all like I haven't taken that many recently. But when I used to go and perform or go to events, like I used to take a picture before. Like I like to dress up.
Yeah. I think that would look really cool. Like just a silhouette of you, and then like just having everything there. I just feel like that would be a really cool like shadowy silhouette picture.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, I haven't taken any good pictures or working with any photographers since the pandemic. Very much is another thing that it's kind of sad, but it's better to be safe. I think it's gonna be time when everything gets back to normal. But I have a lot of this kind of stuff. Or when I do performance, sometimes I wear a lot of things because it's really eye-catching for the audience, like to have something. And sometimes I don't wear anything. It's one of those things. Like it depends of the performance or how I feel like. Like okay, I'm gonna wear something. And then another thing is like when they are too heavy or too thin, you are more limited in the space or in the movements. Like you have to be really careful not to get stuck in the rest of the costumes, or or like you cannot like go down like this because they can move. Stuff like that. So
it must be like an extra layer to be like moving and like thinking. I know in my face I'd be like thinking, and everyone would know I'm like thinking like, oh, I can't get caught here, or I don't know. It's really cool that you can be graceful and do all of that at the same time.
It's good. Yes. Or if you are using more props in your hands or whatever, it's like you have to be like very conscious, like not to hit yourself with this is more. Like because it's something that don't wear every day, and then if you start dancing or whatever, it's like sometimes you hit or stay like stuck in your costume or whatever. So I normally do a rehearsal. Like a bunch of times before going on a stage, but sometimes things happen unexpected, so you have to be prepared for everything anyway. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I was also thinking that that we were supposed to actually do a shoot at some point.
Yeah, we have been talking about that for 2 years or so.
Oh God, this is terrible. Yeah, I just
Shame on you, Mark.
I know. I just
No, it's like we have
myself.
a lot of things to do, and the days that we have free is like either he has something to do or I have something to do. So it's not that easy.
I will talk to you offline because I've actually done a couple of shoots safely outside, depending if you're okay with this kind of weather. I've actually done some, so we can probably we can make this fucking happen finally.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
I think it's better to do something outside. I think it's less dangerous, so to speak, especially if you find an area that is not that crowded or that is not a lot of people visited there, and just taking precautions. I mean, it can be done. You just have to be like extra careful.
Yeah, and that's what we've done. We've been masked up more than 6 feet apart, and in open areas, that kind of thing. It's completely outdoors. Yeah. Some places where it's covered if it's raining or what have you. But yeah, I'll talk to you offline.
Okay, awesome.
That's so awful that I just remember that.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry. I'm sure we will find a time. It's like, don't worry. So, and speaking of pictures, Erica, have you been working or doing pictures lately, like with this?
I have
safely shots.
Yeah, I mean, I was a nurse for 10 years, so I follow precautions very heavily.
Good.
Like, I'm sterilized. I got the distance. I got my mask. I mean, I've got that all down just from years and years of work. But I've also been doing these drive-in shows for concerts that has just been a blast. I was telling Mark this last week, and I worked with the Beach Boys and Oingo Boingo. John Stamos was there, and Mark McGrath of Sugar Ray.
Wow, that's awesome!
I was shoulder to shoulder with John Stamos, and I actually got to say hi to him for a second, and I'm kind of like dying inside, like, oh my god.
You're like, play it cool.
I tried, and I failed miserably. I'm one of those, I cannot hide my emotions at all. It's a terrible curse. But yeah. That was really pretty amazing. But getting to work these shows have been a huge help. Mentally, I know so many people, especially in the entertainment industry, it's really hard right now. I'm watching so many of my musicians that I've known for decades and decades. They're all having a really hard time getting through this because they just want to play a show. That was their outlet. It's their line of work. But more often, it's just they want to do it mentally. It's just their outlet to let all the stress go. So I'm hoping they do more of these shows, the drive-ins or distance shows. I mean, whatever it may be, just let these people get that energy out and have some fun with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a plus of being in California too, because weather-wise versus up here, we're getting into those colder months. It's just not going to happen, I don't think. But I mean, are things kind of the same down there in terms of they're not trying to lock stuff down more? They're just kind of staying the course, or what's going on down in California?
It's staying the course. Places still aren't open. It's porch and patio only or outdoor services only. Massage services just opened up. So my poor back and neck has just been killing me. So I went and got an adjustment done with Carlton and finally felt better. But moving that fridge out of our apartment today just sent it all back downhill. But it's definitely a strange time just knowing that, okay, I can't go sit in a restaurant. I can't do this. I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's certainly weird.
Yeah, like here, there are, I think all the restaurants are open for dining, but you don't see people there. And like everybody is just taking the food and eating in their houses, including me. I haven't been like dining at all. But yeah, and some of them are not open, just taking out. But the ones that are, like, you don't see people sitting in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even parts of Magnolia over by my house here, they've shut off one lane of the street just so these restaurants can all have patio space for their tables because nobody can eat inside yet, which I thought was just awesome. They did that for these restaurants so they could stay open.
Yeah, I went back home to Pennsylvania for like the month of September to be with my family, and they like a lot of the streets were shut down, and there were restaurants, and like everyone was socially distanced, and I thought that was really cool, especially considering they're like main streets, or in New York City even a lot of places are doing that. So it's good that they're trying to be as accommodating as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they did that something like that here, at least in the summertime down in Edmonds. They on Saturday, Sunday, they're closing down the main part of Edmonds so that restaurants could, spill out basically into the street and people could walk safely and kind of basically support the businesses without having to, bump into each other.
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing now, yeah, I'm not so sure just because
it's cold now. Yeah. It's too cold for being eating there.
I hate it.
You guys would have laughed at me the other night when I was working these shows because it's been just beautiful 100-degree days here, 90 degrees. The shows I've been shooting are out at the beach. I went there this weekend and it was 60 degrees. And I'm sitting there and I'm shivering. I have my jacket on. I have my arm socks on. I've got pants and leggings on. I was still freezing my butt off. It's like, how did I live in Portland for 30 some odd years?
Yeah.
And I can't handle 60 degrees? Are you kidding me?
Wow.
The entire drive home, I'm blaring my heater just to warm my hands back up. It was awful, guys. It was just terrible.
I can. I like the cold. I love it, but I get cold like really quick. Like I always have to be like with my big jacket or so. But I prefer that. Like.
I used to love the cold. I mean, I used to always go snowshoeing or camping in the snow. Like dig out a little pit for my tent and I camp in the snow. I can't do that anymore.
I stay far away from the cold. I hate it so much.
Oh man, yeah. What happened, Erica? I mean, you just got acclimated to California, basically.
I'm a Valley girl now. What can I say? Went from Portland hiking wilderness girl to Valley girl.
And I'm like Sony. I if I have to pick between the hot and the cold, I tend to pick the cold because I can always layer up with stuff. And when it gets to a certain degree, then it's like, what are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and sweat. And so that's also because I was born here. So that's what I'm used to. We have mild temperatures for the most part around here. If I was born in I don't know, South Texas or somewhere where it's always hot, then maybe I'd be used to that. I don't know.
No, like my hometown in Mexico is super hot, like Arizona hot, horrible and dry and horrible. It's like I remember like when I was living there, I have to go out. I used to be like in a really bad mood all the time, and you are sweating and horrible. It's horrible. Then I moved to Mexico to a place that it was more fresh and it had more trees and beautiful. And I just adapt really quick to the lower temperatures. And then when I moved here, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Now, if I go to Mexico or a place that is really hot, I just have a really hard time. I mean, I can do it, but I suffer.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Sony, I just kind of thought about something. When you were in Mexico, didn't you work as like a vet or vet tech or something down there?
Yes, I went to veterinary college and I did practice for a while, and mostly with cats. I mean, I did a little bit of everything, but my last years doing my practice, I was working for a pet food company and doing food tests before they release it to the market, just to make sure like the food is safe and all that. Like it's a long process. Before the food goes out. And I was working in a cat as a cat specialist, some kind of technician.
Okay.
And taking care of the health of the cats, because they have cats there testing the food, and that was awesome. That was something that I did for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, that just for some weird reason popped into my head. It's probably because everybody here's got pets of some sort.
Yes.
I think that kind of came back to me.
Yeah.
I was telling my family the other day though, is that once I turned 50 back in June, that's almost like a switch went. Like I swear, like stay young or stay whatever age you are, because it's like things that I feel like I'm sure that this happened 2 years ago and I was at this show or something, and then I'll kind of look back at the information and realize I'm completely off. I'm wrong about it. So now I don't have the confidence to be able to say, oh no, that I used to work at this place during the year. I have to kind of think about it. Yeah, it's really bad, and it just kind of just happened.
Yeah, it is. Like I haven't practiced my veterinarian thing since 2012. No, 2012 probably was the last time that I did it. And the other day I was talking with some colleges that are in Mexico that they don't practice anymore to us because they started in another businesses that are totally unrelated, and we were talking, what is the name of this condition that it happened this and that, and no one of us, we were four, nobody of us could remember it, because I think like your brain just storage the information there and you want to remember it, but you just can't because you don't use that information anymore, and I guess it's just erases your memories, and I don't know anymore. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. Like, yeah, if somebody gives me a test, I don't know. Nobody will be. Yeah, probably will fail it. I don't know. You have to update if you want to go back to do your own work, especially like when it involves a lot of things, technical and medical stuff.
Yeah, because it changes so much.
Yeah, weird terms, and if you are not using them anymore, it's like,
at least at least that makes sense. Like you're saying, if you haven't been doing it for a while, then there's new terms, new things that are happening, and you're not up to speed. But I'm talking about like I'll think that I'm supposed to be somewhere on a Thursday, and then I know it's actually on Friday, and it's like, what the hell happened? I mean, I used to be really good about that kind of stuff, and it happens a lot. And I remember my brother, who's older than me, was saying that just get used to it. I don't want to get used to it, but it's
weird. Yeah, sometimes when I like, my brain is always thinking in Spanish most of the time, and when I want to say something in English, sometimes I forgot the words, or it happens the opposites too. When I am talking in Spanish, I forgot the name of things in Spanish, and I am like, oh. It's weird. You cannot explain like how the brain works.
Yeah, well, at least you speak 2 languages, though.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you.
I barely speak English, so.
I say I speak American. I don't feel like I speak English.
Do you really want to admit to that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, where I'm from, they use a lot of slang, and like it's a very specific. Like I'm from an Amish town. I'm not Amish, but like a lot of things have different ways of saying things, so I don't know, just it's just very different, so I just feel like I speak American.
But Mariah,
my language goes back and forth because I grew up with Italians and Canadians.
Oh, that's a very diverse. They're just like different,
completely different. So sometimes the English doesn't come out, and just pure Italian's how people know when I'm truly mad. Sometimes they'll say something with an accent. They're like, where are you from? I'm like, here.
Mariah, I remember you saying something about like I think it was like semis or 4-wheel or what, like
oh yeah, we call them tractor trailers.
Yeah.
Like, when people said like a semi, I had no idea what they were talking about. Yeah, and I still like argue that they're not. They're like 18-wheelers or tractor trailers. They're not semis. Yeah. I'm against the word semi. Or just like people saying like Jimmy's for sprinkles or pop for soda or just different things like that. Very like specific to like geographical things. So it's kind of cool.
Yes.
And Christiana, I know you have your fangs in. And,
I know. I was thinking about taking them out because they're like super distracting.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
I barely had my hood on. So like,
yeah, same.
They were totally distracting me. I'm just like here, just like just like while all of you are talking, and I'm like, let me just mess around with these things. Yeah.
Did you make them like custom made for your mouth, or are you universal size?
Oh no, they're the universal size ones.
Oh, okay.
come in the little. I think they come in the little coffin box.
Oh,
They use by
cute.
They're
Yeah.
they're
Are
like
those
pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good quality. I think like they're easy to
Okay.
like apply the paste. Then you stick the paste in the little the fang, and then just it molds to your tooth, and it slides on and off pretty easily.
I was going to ask if it still had the clay insert on it to mold to your tooth or not.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at it up close, it's like, oh, there's all the plasticky like mold that's you're supposed to use nail clippers to clip off the excess, but yeah. For me, like I was just thinking about how I am really terrible at recall. So like if I were to be at a trivia night with any of you, I mean, I would be like the weakest link, because I wouldn't be able to recall any of the words, any locations, any current events or facts or anything like that. But like once you tell me, I'm like, oh, okay, right, yes, yeah, and I'm like, as I've gotten older too, I'm just like, I don't remember things. Like I studied it, like how they have that. Sometimes people ask. We'll have like these team building events or whatever, like that kind of go, or something that's on TV. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? And I'm like,
No.
No.
Nope.
Those questions are hard though sometimes.
They are. They're evil.
Well, I can tell you this thing, and Christiane, you'll probably appreciate, or anyone that's really good at math, because I'm not good at math. It's one of these survival jobs that I went to recently. Told me, oh, we're going to do an assessment when you get here. So I'm like, okay, I've done like behavioral assessments and some other kind of assessments at job interviews, but it turned out to be academic, and it had a math part and an English part. And again, with me not being good at math, I'm like, well, maybe it'll be like remedial stuff, like basic stuff or basic fractions or something that I can handle. And I turned the page to that booklet. It was algebra, trig, a bunch of this, like high school level stuff that I haven't seen in a long time. So I was just ready to hand that booklet back to the lady and says, "I'm so sorry."
Hand it back empty.
Yeah, because I'm like, I can say this now because I didn't get that job. That I literally, some of those problems I was looking at them, I was like, I don't even know what to do. So I just randomly put numbers like 2, 4, 6 as answers, and then she was like, "Oh, are you done with the math one?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I was hoping she wasn't going to try to correct it, in front of me, just like I'm going back to like when I wasn't good at math in junior high or something. And so I was like, well, I might want to go back to it because I said I still have, within the 30-minute time period. So I went immediately to the English one, which I knew I could bang out pretty good because that's my strength. And I turned both of them into her and said, "See ya." And I walked out, just knowing that I completely bombed that math. There was not one part on there that was easy for me.
Oh no!
And so like, oh god, it's one of those things we just felt like this is just a waste of time. But no, I'll go through it. And I even told them later via email that if you can train me on whatever you need, hey, that's great. But if you need me to be at that level, yeah, this isn't going to work out.
Yeah, math is so specific in its processes, and like you have to follow one step to get to the next one. And if you skip something, it's over. So that's totally understandable, especially not being in like practicing in it for so many years. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of crazy to me that they gave that to you. I don't know.
Yeah,
mean.
I agree.
I think it was a stress test is all it was. They wanted to see how you'd handle it under pressure.
That's true.
Yeah, well, I stayed there. I didn't throw it at them or start crying or something.
I would have cried. Yeah,
exactly.
I would have called my mom and be like, "Mom."
Yeah, we'll probably cry internally too, and I will be like,
Sometimes those tests are like super. I mean, they're really, really stressful. I remember when I was taking a standardized test and I like psyched myself up for it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out for it. And then I tested really poorly, and then I kind of like I retook the standardized test again like a couple months later, just to give myself more time to study or whatever. But I kind of like let it go because I was like, I don't really want to study for this. It's terrible. I'm upset about my score. And, so I went partying the night before my retest and like, was pretty much hungover the next day, woke up the next day. And I was like, I really hate this. This is so annoying, and I was about to quit. I was about to like actually just skip it and not take it and just like give up on this, like, this test. And I went in, took the test, completely unstressed, and scored 100 points better. So like I was like, this was like a graduate school like admissions test. So I was like, what? How? So I come in, it's like that test anxiety, like it really, really just bogs you down for sure.
Yeah, which is crazy that like so many things go off of standardized tests because so many people have anxiety or they're just not good test takers, and that's like not a good scale to predict someone's life with,
Yeah.
So
I have horrible test anxiety. I just can't do it. I can name everything off beforehand, but as soon as it comes down to, okay, you're being graded on this, I'm awful. Like going through the nursing program, they had 4 cadavers all stacked out, and it just flags in all the muscles or whatever it may be. And you just have to write everything down about what it is exactly. And if you misspell it, if you do anything wrong, it's wrong entirely.
Wow.
I had everything down before I went in. Afterwards, no, 78. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's awful.
So hard.
It killed me. Killed me.
Yeah, medicine is really hard. Like you have to memorize a lot of things, and the names, some of them are very similar to another.
Yes, and the spelling, it's awful, but it doesn't matter what it is. English was always my worst. I hate English with a passion. It's funny that now I'm a photojournalist. I have to do writing, but going through school, I still hate English to this day. I just despise it. I was always the math and science brain.
The opposite of me. I was not the math or the science brain at all. I was English and history. Those are my strong subjects.
Yeah.
I love history.
For me, were the science too. Probably biology and chemistry were my strongest, and I was like college or junior high and all that. Like I love them. I love those subjects, biology and chemistry, and anything that has to do with it. Like microbiology is one of my favorites too. So.
I really like psychology, and like we were fortunate enough to have a program for psychology in high school, and my brothers are both psychologists now, so it's like when we get together with our family, it's kind of annoying because it's like, I know exactly why you did that when you were a kid, or like studying each other. I'm like, can we just stop?
So they've had to go through their dissertations and all that already.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I started to go to school for criminology and sociology before I pursued music, but that was like definitely really, really fun.
Psychology is really fascinating. I just took like the one class for psychology, but I was like, this is really cool. Like it really just like talks about, how your brain works and like all the different like issues that kind of like, and not issues, but like all the different, the way that it works and like why you approach, something in a certain manner. I was interested in that. And I think I was interested in English a lot, but I went the STEM route. So like when I went to school, like I graduated with a STEM degree. And I do sometimes have regrets, like as to, I wish I had taken more arts courses or, gone in that path, so, but now that's kind of where I'm at now. So it circled around and I made it there anyways.
Exactly. You always find what you're meant to be doing at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just seeing Night Stalker saying English and history are my favorites. Math sucks.
Most of the people hate math. Like I like it, and when there was one in one of the junior high that I love it. But it was like all the probability and all that, and I think I did pretty good at it. Like I excel at it. But the rest of them were complicated, like all the algebra and all those, like trigonometry and all those, like are really hard, especially if you are not into it or if you don't practice. Because like Mariah comment earlier, like if you make like a little mistake, like everything goes to hell.
But at the same time, math and science, it's direct. It is what it is. There is no really discerning it.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Disprove it. But English, it breaks its own rules. It is so frustrating to me, especially English. Like I took Japanese for a couple of years, and it's very a strict guideline for how everything is, the wording, the structures, sentence structures. Like it's amazing. English is just all over the place. No I before E, except for C, or except for this word, except for this word. I mean, there is no structure to English. It is just a collaboration of everybody else's language, and
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah, and I think with a lot of those courses too that people struggle with or have like likes or dislikes for, it really depends on your instructor, because I feel like I really enjoyed math because my teacher was phenomenal, and I had him like as I grew in math, he stayed with my class, so we grew up together, which was like really
awesome.
great. Whereas English, like I had teachers who had like their own biases or like things that when I would write an essay they would not like, and I'd be like, well, you're just not looking at it open-minded enough, you know. So I think that was a struggle I had with English.
And also it changes with years. I mean, it's same in Spanish. Like I love to watch, for example, like old movies, and I love the way they are, like the dialogue so beautiful, and it's really hard to see that nowadays. Like you can see like how the dialogue is change, and sometimes I hear like old-fashioned words in Spanish, and I don't even know what I mean. I have to go and like look through it, and I'm like, oh, cool! It sounds really, really good. So yeah, even the insults, even the insults like that are elegant with like that are all really elegant, and it's like, wow, that's really way to insult people without some vulgar. Yeah.
Fun. I think Mariah's on to something about who's teaching you. Obviously, being a teacher myself at one point, I remember when I got to college, I was like, I know I got to take some math classes just to get them out of the way and all that kind of thing. And luckily, I had one math teacher who used to work at Boeing. So he kind of made things very practical. That's how he taught his class. And so for me, that worked wonders. I completely started to understand things. I did well in his class. And I was so glad that was like the last math class I was going to have to take until that freaking assessment test the other day. But it's true. I mean, you got to find different ways to reach students, and not every student's going to learn the same way. And unfortunately, especially with public school systems, they try to force you into a box. And if you don't fit in that box, then it's like tough luck. And I know that I've seen it firsthand from other teachers in my own buildings who refuse to change their ways. It's like, Mark, here's what I'm doing for this quarter, because we'd have to get like study skills materials from some of the mainstream teachers. And it's like, do you ever deviate from this? No, it's worked for the last 10 years. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
this is terrible. This is terrible.
It is.
But that at the same time, there are some of those that do try to reach out, do try to understand that if you had a slanted story, was that last week? No, that was with the soap girls. I was talking about that. I had a student that had burned every bridge in junior high. I mean, nobody wanted to deal with them. The administration was tired of them. They wanted them out of the building. And of course, my first year of teaching, they put him into my room for 3 periods.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, what am I supposed to do with him? He's already got this reputation and all this kind of stuff. And the counselor's trying to talk to me about, how to work best with him. And it took a while for us to kind of get a trust going, which is understandable. But then he wrote this story for me that had to do with a serial killer. And I still remember reading that. I thought this was amazing. It was so creative. I love everything, the characterization, everything he did with it. And so I wanted to have him go over to our VP and have him read a bit of that story to her, just to show that he can do this work. He does have value. And she saw him coming, and I was kind of walking behind him. And the first thing out of her mouth was, "What do you do now?"
Oh, wow.
And so they had already written him off. They didn't care that he'd actually done something good. And then let alone, were they going to be okay with the subject matter? I don't care. I thought it was great. So I kept telling them to keep doing more. Give me another chapter of this writing. Because you had to find something that they're feeling good about, and then just keep trying to fan those flames. And he became somebody that came back to visit me when he got to high school. And he was a different kid. He had mellowed out. He was like laughing about how he used to be. And I said, yeah, you were a handful. You were a handful, dude. I'm not going to lie about that. So I'm so glad to see that you're doing well now and you're working part-time and all that kind of thing. And kind of got things together. But he was telling me that he remembered that story that he wrote for me, that one about the serial killer. It's like, yeah, I said, I didn't think you were going to be okay with that. It's like, it was creative writing. That was the focus of the assignment. And that's creative to me. So that's where we went with it.
Great.
But
it's super cool that you could have been some sort of like pivotal aspect in his life. Like maybe he was inspired to love learning in a new way, or be creative in a new way. Which that's really all it takes is just like one instance or one teacher. Which is why I feel they have such a responsibility to like
100%.
to be that person for their students.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a heavy responsibility. It's one of the things. That's why I don't do it now.
That is a big responsibility, though.
But yeah, for anyone still out there doing it and giving it, especially virtually right now, I mean, I give my hats off to them of trying to keep students entertained for 6.5 hours a day. Good doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, I know me, I'd be on Instagram or like doing other things that I'm not supposed to be doing.
Shame on you.
Yeah, at least I can admit it.
Yeah, it's like for me, like I see how the teachers, like my kid has been having like in these years, and I am like totally like, oh my god, they have all my respect for the way they deal, not with one kid, but with 20 or 30 kids at the time. And no, I couldn't do it. It's like, no, I can't do this. I can barely like, handle my kid. I can see myself handle like 20, 30 kids. It's like, but they have like really good, I think, techniques or ways. I mean, obviously they are prepared for it, and it's amazing how they can do it, and all the patience and how they explain everything is like, no, I can't. So, like Mark say, like, yeah, they have all my respect. Yeah.
And Sony, so your son is doing virtual learning right now, I assume?
Yes, he's doing it from 9 a.m. to 3 or 4. It depends of the day. He has breaks though, like he has a couple of breaks between those hours. But yeah, it's like he's doing good. But I have other friends that have kids, and they tell me like they have 3 kids, different grades, and it's hard for them. And there are kids that they just can't be there all the time. It's a challenge. But fortunately, my kid goes well. But yeah, I bet it's challenging for them to be just there in front of the computer, and for the teacher to like trying to keep them focus on the activities and all that.
I saw
everything is
something
online.
Yeah, I saw something like at the end of September when they were talking about some of the local teachers are already having burnout because it's so intensified trying to teach this way and keep kids engaged versus you can person, maybe you can work on something and get into a group and you'll work for 15 minutes. Then we're going to come back together and talk about it. They can't do that. So there's just kind of like so they're concentrating, they're just on the whole time, and now they're kind of like, gosh, when is winter break or when is the next thing?
And they have to check all the assignments or all the the activities they are doing like individually through the apps that they are using or the platforms that they are using, and that's another thing because the kids have to like take pictures of the work they are doing and stuff like that. And I think it's kind of not that practical, but
and hard because not everyone has like access to those technologies and the internet. Even like it's not like a thing that everyone can have.
Well, here it's like the school district that I am at, they send us like a Chromebook for the kids.
Oh, nice.
Really?
That's awesome.
But I don't know if that's the case for all the school districts.
No,
but the one that
not.
the one that I have is like, and I told them like, oh, I have a computer that he can use, and they were like, no, it's like we can provide like one for each student. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So and they work really good. I mean, their touch is very good. It's very practical for the kids. Well, they are trying to be practical, but still, it's like there are things that they have to do by hand, and they have to take the picture of it and send it and stuff like that. So
Cool. Well, I know Mariah needs to kind of get going.
Oh, okay.
Is there any chance we could see your puppy before you have to hop off?
Yeah, let me go and grab her quick. Okay.
Awesome. It's I think Inslee just said something in a press conference. It was today or yesterday about providing technology.
That'd be good.
Yeah, like 64,000 like Chromebooks or something are going to be going to the students that don't have access to one.
It's good. I know Amazon just did that down here. They provided just thousands upon thousands of like little hotspots and Chromebooks for all these students in need, if they could prove that they were really in need,
Right.
they did that for them. It was
Right.
awesome. Oh my goodness.
no.
Here
It's a cocker spaniel.
Her name is Addie, and she's a mini golden doodle.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, she just woke up, but she's ready
Good
to
morning,
play. Say hi. Say hi.
Oh,
Aw, she's kissing me. That's so nice. She's usually biting me.
she's just waking up. She's prepping the skin.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I love you right now. It was very nice meeting you, Sony and Erica, and it was good to see you again, Christiana and Mark, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, have a happy Halloween tomorrow, and
You too.
enjoy Addie.
Thank you. Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You as well. Have a good night.
care,
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night.
Oh gosh, makes me want to have a dog. I've grown up with dogs, but now that I live in an apartment, I say I won't get one until I'm in a house or something where I can. Well, also my schedule. Well, not now, but pre-pandemic, I need to have a schedule where at least I'm around, because that doesn't work when you're at shows 4 nights a week or whatever.
You can get one like I have.
Uh-huh.
She's a tour dog, so she goes on tour with us. She goes to shows. So it's
That's-
crazy.
How old's your dog?
She's 11 now,
Oh, okay.
but
And
she's famous.
she's just kind of chilling out.
She's over on the couch right now. Hang on, I'll grab her. Come here. Everybody wants to see you.
Pet party. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, baby girl. She's like, what's going on here?
Little Chihuahua.
Yeah. Little apple
That's
head.
cute.
She's like, you woke me up for this. I'm not happy with you now. Here, you can have your pillow.
So we have a Chihuahua. I know Christiana's got beagles.
Beagle?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, are they upstairs or
beagles.
They're
around you?
upstairs. I could probably summon them.
I love beagles. I had one, and he was a pain in the butt.
Oh my
They are
God.
very active. They are hyperactive,
Yes.
actually.
Very, very.
Great
Yeah,
watchdogs. All
Yes.
bark. Most of the time, all bark, no bite, right?
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, the first dog that we had when I was growing up was a beagle. So yeah, but
Yeah.
ours was more of an outdoor dog, so he was getting into trouble out there, digging out underneath the fence all the time and stuff. That was kind of his deal. But let's see.
Here, let me show you. You want to see all bark and no bite?
Oh.
That was my old dog. I was sick as heck on the couch, and my ex kept poking at me, and the dog finally had enough and bit his hand. Good dog.
That's cute.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. But not funny at the same time. Yeah.
Oh no, it's hilarious. It was perfect.
I've got a dog delivery.
The tricolor.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Her name
hi,
is
baby.
Her name is Luca. She's named after a video game character.
After
Yeah.
what?
After
Video
a
game.
video game character.
Oh, a video game character.
Yeah. But she's like, okay, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. But
I like how John just brought her.
I know. He's listening. Yeah. She does a pretty cool trick. Like, we've taught her to close the front door. So like when we let her out to go use the restroom, she comes back in through the front door, and then we just tell her to close the door, and she like pushes it closed, which is great.
Good puppy.
Yeah. I wish I could share a video of that or something, but it's always more interesting when you can view it and like not like hear me talk about it. It's like there's sometimes I'm like, oh, I need a visual aid.
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, and Christiana, you've got 2 beagles. So are their personalities pretty different, or are they kind of similar?
Oh, I mean, like they look similar. They definitely look similar. They're both tricolor beagles with like black backs and like the brown heads and stuff like that. But they do act a little bit differently. One's like very hyper and like really smart. The one that closes the door like can do all these tricks. The other one, she's a couch potato. So like she is the sweetest dog. She's just like you go to pick her up and she's just like dead weights on you, just like just rolls over and it's just like this. And so they're both really good dogs. The oldest one is about to turn 11 too, kind of like your dog Erica. So getting older, chill. Ours is afraid of loud noises though, and we'll like escape from when we receive like Amazon boxes or whatever, and we are opening them up with like a we're just opening them up. She like goes and hides. So I'm like trying to figure out why is she afraid of boxes? Yeah. But yeah. Not that.
Yeah, sometimes you can explain like they have this weird thing that they do all the time, and you try and they just keep going with it. So, do you have any pets, Mark?
I used to have guinea pigs.
And,
yeah, and I still have one who's hanging in there. I know that's not the best thing to do. They're supposed to be in pairs or more, but she's already 6.5. Yeah, almost older than 6.5 years old. So,
wow.
Yeah, I had to make that decision about do I just kind of let her live her life, and then once she passes, not do anything else, or get another one to match with her. And there's never a guarantee that they're going to get along, kind of a thing. So you got to do that whole process of trying to get them together and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, well, I'm just going to have to hang on to her until she kind of goes, and then I won't have a pet for a while after that. I think at least in here. So. But what also, like Erica said, though, the tour dog thing, I don't even know if I think my landlord's probably not going to allow that, but I never did ask him in terms of like a dog or cat. Guess it never hurts. He does like me.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like if you're renting, like it's an extra luxury to have a pet because, well, in my case, I have to pay rent for my 2 cats.
Little pet rent.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate that too. And also when I moved, because I was living in another apartment, I had a hard time. Like I saw places that I like, but they didn't allow pets or just one pet, and I was like, I have 2. So it's kind of a bit of a hassle when you have pets.
Yeah. How old are your cats?
One is 15 and one is 13 years old. They are senior cats. Awesome. Yeah, I brought them from Mexico with me, so they have been with me for a while.
We had a cat live to 25 years old. I think it was 25 or 26.
Oh, that's super cool.
Forever.
Yeah, if you take care of them, they can live long. Yeah, that's super cool.
That's a long time.
Yeah. If they are only indoor, it's their life expectation is bigger than if they have access to the outdoor. Exactly. So yeah.
But I'll trade you birds. How's that? We have 13.
Really?
So, I want to talk about something being around for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, like Mark said, if they pass, or when they pass, like I think I will be without pets for a while too.
Exactly.
Just to take a break, because now, especially that they are getting older, it's more caring. Like they are getting digestive issues, and then I have to give them a special food. So it's like you are spending. Well, I am spending more money on them. Like they eat better food than me.
It's funny. Our dog, we have to do that now with Cleo. She had a little cancer issue last year, and we had to go through radiation therapy. But one of the funny things is she used to be like the calmest, most quiet dog. She'd maybe whimper if she wanted some food or something. They had to give her steroids through all this. And one common thing with steroids is roid rage.
Yes.
She developed that. It stuck around. Here we are a year or 2 later, and she still has the roid rage. So if we're eating dinner or we're doing something she doesn't like, she just sits there and barks at us and just bark. It's like, we even have a pit bull down the street, And she'll go after him.
Oh,
It's like, are you kidding me?
Oh no.
You're crazy dog.
yeah. Like the older they get, they need more caring, and well, it's like you
Yes.
have to be prepared. I mean, I knew that will happen eventually, but it's like it's gonna be like that until they pass. I mean, there is nothing I can do for them. It's just one thing that happened. So yeah.
I just thought of something. So here's another random thought that came through my head that I don't know where it comes from. But Christiana actually stopped by my place the day before my guinea pig was born because I was like, does this feel like there's babies in here to the mom? And she was like, Mark, there's something moving. So and it was the very next day, there's 2 little pups underneath his house. I'm like, oh
my gosh.
I guess these other ones need to get out of here right now. And
Oh.
I put them somewhere else and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was like they're like maybe this big, maybe like
wow,
inch and a half or so. They're super small. If their head was bigger than their body for sure. And I took pictures. I took pictures of them that day to kind of know, like, and you have to weigh them, you know, all this kind of stuff by ounces and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, yeah, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, and then Mark, didn't you think that the mother guinea pig was a boy for a while too?
Yeah. So what had happened is I got her for a family was trying to rehome him, as they put it, and he was like, I think maybe 6 weeks old at that time when I got him, and I already had a couple here, and looking at I saw stuff online and that kind of thing about how you're supposed to be able to sex them, and it looked kind of similar. They weren't too different, but I'm like, yeah, this looks like a male, like they said. And so, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it turns out she was female, and that's how she got. Oh, look,
that is a fluff ball.
He's huge.
Oh my god!
And he's heavy too. Hey, say hi.
What's his name?
Yurak.
Yeah,
he had a name when I adopted him. And I didn't change the name because I like it. Like I did a research because I didn't know what it was. I was like, why that name is weird. So I just went and Googled it back in the day. There was Google already. And I found out that it means white in Quechua, that it's like one of Peruvian indigenous or Dominican indigenous people. And they have a dialect, and that word means white, and I'm like, oh, okay, we'll leave it like it. And he was used to it. Like he was 7 years old when I adopted him, so I was like, okay, I will leave the name. So he has been with me for 8 years. But and the other cat that I have, he's here too. Okay, baby. He has been with me all the time for 15 years, and since he was a kitten. So yeah. He's a little bit smaller than the other one. The other one is way bigger. But yeah, they get along well. Yeah, they are very sweet. Good. Yeah, they are very sweet. Yeah. This is Sylvester. But I think he never liked that name. So I started calling him Silver, that it's like a short name for Sylvester. And I noticed that he was more like respond to it. So we call him Silver. But everybody asked me, like, what is silver if it's not silver color? I'm like, well, it was Sylvester originally, but
so they choose their names.
Yes, they do.
It was Mia, but she responds like she'd get mad if you just called her Mia. You had to call her Miss Mia.
Oh,
and she would have her back to you, and her ears would turn back. She's like, you didn't say Miss Mia. And so say Miss Mia. Then she comes around prancing, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like they choose what they want to be called, and yeah,
absolutely.
Tell. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely give nicknames to the dogs. Like the smart one, I just call her Whiner McWhinerson. And the other one's like any assortment of like I don't know, like Hungry Hungry Hippo or something, or, Snora, and like
Nora.
yeah.
Yeah, I do call them names too sometimes, and yeah, it's fun. It's like you can have like a lot of fun with them. Like they are really funny and they have their own thing. Like, they are
Totally.
totally different. Like, and they are also totally different from any other pets that I have. Yeah, yeah, totally different.
Well,
Fun.
it's got to be nice having pets, especially during this time, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're-
Yeah, and
they're-
especially here for my son too. Like he likes to, be around them.
Yeah.
They don't like to be picked up by him, so he has to, he had to learn that the cats are not that friendly with kids, or at least these cats. I mean, they tolerate him, but they are not very playful with him unless they have like certain type of toys. But they are not, like a dog. Like the dogs are more, some dogs, not all of them, but some dogs are more easily to get along with kids. And my cats are totally like, they prefer adult people. So,
Most cats, that's how they are. They don't like kids.
yeah, they don't like kids. So then, like I said, they tolerate him, but he had to learn, like, okay, the cat doesn't want you to carry him or pick him up. So, it's like, yeah, I'm very special.
Well,
But yeah.
I had a dog in college that eventually became my parents' dog, who was like, I don't know, 14 pounds. Came from the shelter, the whole bit, and she absolutely hated kids. And I don't know, like I mean, when she was a puppy, the kids had teased her or pulled on her or something, but she never got used to any kind of kid. Adults, she was fine with, not an issue, but something in her past definitely led me to believe that something was going on, because kids would see her, or like relatives would come over to the house and want to, like, play with the dog, and she was not she was not having it at all. But she was a real smart dog. I was kind of sad that I didn't get to keep her as long as I did. But my parents, gave her a good life. When she was around. But she was a country dog. She was the one that, since I got her from Yakima, anytime she'd been in my parents' backyard on the deck, she'd see a squirrel out there on the tree. Oh, she was gone for the entire day. I mean, it didn't matter if it's raining all day. She would be like literally going down the stairs, across the grass, trying to jump up the tree to get to the squirrel. And when she couldn't do it, then she'd come back up onto the top of the deck and just sit there and just watch. And just, that we used to call it her squirrel vigil, when she was waiting for squirrels to come. Then she'd take off again, and you can even like say, "Dara," and then she'd turn her head, looking at you like, "It's just you." I'm going back to watching.
Acknowledges you, but no.
Yeah. She was a cool little doggy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I used to have dogs when I was a kid. Like my family always had dogs and cats. We always had dogs and cats. But it was like probably the culture at the time, or I don't know. Like they were always like parked in the street, and then they come back to the house. Like here, I noticed that people is more like, like they have the pets inside or in the house all the time. So I don't have the space to have a dog, but if I ever have like a big house or something, I will have like a border collie, because I love the border collies, or a blue heeler. Like I love those dogs. And when I was working with pets, I did dog training for a while. And like I had a border collie there, and I love it. It was like, it was like my opportunity to hang out with dogs without having the full responsibility of taking care of them. But yeah, they are really fun. I love them. Yeah. And like you said, now I remember, I had one of those dogs that we had for training. It was a boxer, and she was a really beautiful dog, so beautiful, soft. It had pedigree and all that. She hated kids too, but like really bad. Like she wanted to kill them literally every time that yeah, we were trying to fix that, and it was really hard, and it didn't work. I don't know why. It was something like she didn't like kids. So yeah.
Well, sometimes I don't like kids either, so
Same.
I only like mine because I have to.
I like it.
It's interesting. Your son, like I'm thinking about like Crypticon last year, the horror convention. He kind of just draws attention, not because of what he does. It's because they see this, little 3.5 foot, 4 foot, or whatever predator walking through the convention hall, and people just want to take pictures of him. They want to get next to him and all that kind of thing. Because I remember there was the guy dressed up as Krampus that I got a picture of Ramsey's with. So I'm like. And they were found like this picture. All these people wanted pictures of him as soon as they saw him wandering around through the convention.
It's weird because I never make him, watch horror movies or anything like that. It was something like he started doing it by himself. And another thing is like when he was younger, there was a time that he was so obsessed with pumpkins and Halloween. He kind of still is, but when he was younger, she was so obsessed with Halloween. Like he really liked it, and it was like the whole year he wanted to, play with Halloween plushies and stuff like that. And it was something that it came out with him. And about the convention, like he saw like all the people with the costumes, and he was really into it, and interacting with them.
Yeah.
It was fun to see him. So what can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, I see I think even recently you put a picture on your Instagram of him, like not attacking your body, but it was something where it was kind of funny, like
like the zombie, yeah.
Yeah, like he's trying to like grab your boob or something, or there's some kind of thing going on.
It was from we were doing like I don't know if you are familiar with, there is this movie named Burial Ground, and we were trying to recreate a scene from that movie when there's like the kid fighting the mom after the kid turns out to be a zombie. So it was just fun. Like we have a lot of fun doing that. Yeah, I have a really good relationship with him overall. And like I said, since he was very little, he wasn't afraid of anything. I remember he was like a year and a half. And he pointed at the DVD of the movie It. And he was kind of curious about the clown. And he was, I mean, he couldn't talk at that time, but he was like giving me the DVD for him for me to play it. So I was like, you want to see this? And he was like, yes, and jumping. And I was like, okay. And I thought, he's going to be scared about it. But, I play it. And he was jumping and he was super happy. And I have a video of it. I was like, I couldn't believe it. He was super happy every time the clown was on the screen. He was jumping. Like, I have a video and I was like, what? Like, most of the kids or even adults are scared about it. No, he was like super happy jumping with it. Yeah, I think that's one of the most funny moments that I have. One of the most funny memories that I have of him.
Well,
I love horror movies, but I can't do, and arachnophobia.
Oh, is it the clown thing or just that film by itself?
It's clowns. I'm terrified of clowns and puppets. When I was a kid, I had a clown yell at me because I wanted to shake his hand at Ringling Brothers. So since then, I don't like clowns. They just give me the heebie-jeebies, and puppets can't do. Spiders. My dad found out I was afraid of spiders when I was probably about 7 years old. He thought the good way to cure that is showing me the movie Arachnophobia. I still check the shower and lampshades to this day. Like,
yeah. Understand.
I have like a morbid fascination with arachnophobia because I always like watching it, but I'm also deathly afraid of spiders. So like if a spider's crawling in the room, like I don't touch it. I'm just like I yell for my husband. I'm like, John, come here, and then he'll either do one of two things, which is like he'll either kill it or he'll trap it and take it outside. It's just depends on how tired he is at that moment, like
yeah, I agree. I try to stay away from them because I am like kind of paranoid, like they're gonna bite me. Probably they are not, but I am just scared, like if they are venomous or not. So I try not to bother them. But like a phobia, I don't think so. But it's just I try to pretty much with all animals that can attack me. I just try to stay away from them.
Carlton and I both have severe arachnophobia, so we always like, okay, who's getting it this time? Because we both end up the same way, just shaking and freaking out for the rest of the night. We just can't do it. So it's always, okay, who's getting it? But being from the Northwest, we have hobos, brown recluses, brown widows.
Yeah, there are more over there.
You got some of the deadly spiders there. So you kind of have to. And it doesn't matter what you do. You can't get rid of them if they invade your house. Like there was that house down in just outside of Ashland, Oregon. They bought the property without realizing it. It was built on I think it was a brown recluse nest, and you can bring in all the exterminators you want. You can't get rid of them. They lost a ton of money on their house. Yeah.
Wow.
Look it up. Like the spider house in Southern Oregon. They lost all their money on the house because of it. So the spiders, no joke.
And they can like do anything about it, like like sue the person who sold the house or anything. No,
they tried to go through all the laws and everything, and
that's awful. It's what a nightmare. It's like you cannot sleep there.
No, it's just an empty, abandoned house now.
Oh wow!
You can't even, and that's sad because you can't really use it for like anything.
Yeah.
Because you're like nobody wants to go in there in case you get bit by a brown recluse spider.
Exactly. So speaking of scenery, Christiana, tell me about where you're at right now. I keep looking and I just see all this stuff going on. And I'm like obsessed with it.
I am in the basement of our house, and it's kind of like our little like jam room, like band practice room, basically a jam room. We've got these drums, which side? This set of drums. I mean, it's like just our friend got the set of drums for really cheap, like a long time ago, and he didn't know where to put it. So he was like, "You guys want to just hang on to it?" And I was like, "Okay, sure."
Are those China drums?
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes.
Looks like mine.
Yeah. But yours are probably like significantly better than this set. That's what I mentioned. So, and then like, we've got like this, I think it's the gig bar over here, which is like, well, we decided to just get some lighting because it was, might as well, just to, for our streaming purposes. And then this sign, the sushi and bento sign, like our, my work office ended up getting rid of the office, and so like the sushi and bento sign was in the kitchen, and they were like, do you want it? And I was like, yes, I want it.
Yes. It looks cool. I was wondering the same, like, does she have a restaurant there?
I know, like looking at everything, it's like, but there's a music sign up here.
Like maybe they used to do like shows in the restaurant or something like that. I was praised. Yeah, cool.
And then, of course, there's like the holographic vinyl kind of like wallpaper thing that we kind of just stuck to the wall for like some ambiance. So, just kind of, it's kind of like a mishmash of things down here, but we wanted to kind of like accumulate stuff for like when people can come back over. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. What, Mark?
Yeah.
What?
I'm just trying to think of anything else that I've missed before.
Over. I mean, we have like a little. Why can't I know it's pointing. The pointing thing is where I got like a little skeleton just sitting back there too. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I saw him just sitting there at the kit.
Yeah, because like for me, I mean, I normally when I do the interviews, it's the other way around. So I have the backdrop over here and stuff on the wall, but then when I do fun tables, and it's always this way, and that's why I get out of the way, and there's crap behind me. Obviously, some of the stuff between and what have you, but some of it's just normally there.
I am in my bedroom, so I have like a plain wall here. So. Yeah, I try to keep the bedroom as minimal as I can to rest better. To get not a lot of distractions around. So
yeah, I don't have the clutter and things,
yeah,
which I need to do better at in my bedroom.
we have
because I got piles of clothes right now.
Oh my gosh, you want a good laugh about clutter? So photographers will love this. I went down to Sammy's because I need some new backdrop paper, seamless. I normally get 86-inch, which is just big enough for my little studio apartment.
Well, Sammy's camera in Los Angeles, they're having a sale. They're like, oh, for $5 more, you can get the 107-inch instead of the 86-inch. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. That's amazing. I don't have to worry about the sides when I do portraits and stuff like that. Okay, the rolls barely fit in my car. I get them home and realize just how much trouble I am in. My ceilings aren't tall enough, so I can't stand them up on end. There's nowhere for me to put them laying down. So they're just like laying at the foot of my bed right now, and I keep kicking them with my feet and breaking my toes on them.
Oh,
Like, it's non-returnable or anything. I tried putting it on Craigslist just to see, okay, can I at least sell it and make some money back? Nobody's buying it. So I'm just like, I'm just stuck with these huge rolls until I use them. But I got suckered in that, oh my gosh, it's only $5 more sale.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it makes. I would be thinking the exact same thing if someone said to me, "Mark, you can get the longer one for only $5 more," especially from a photography standpoint. I say, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, let's do that." It makes such. I have so many more options with that size, and then luckily, like for me, my shooting room is where my guinea pig is, so I can't shoot in there anymore. She's taking it over, but. Out in the living room, I've got vaulted ceilings, so I've got the space if I need it. But I don't really shoot out here. I don't do a lot of that stuff anymore. But but if I needed to, I could do it. So at least I have the space.
Yeah.
But if you're a local, I would probably take it off your hands if you're around here.
well, it happens. Yeah. Yeah, it happens like I have been a victim of those kind of things too, but because I don't read the dimensions. Like sometimes it's like I order something from Amazon or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool and it's super cheap, and blah, I get it, and then it doesn't fit, and like, or it's too small, and it's my fault because I didn't read the dimensions, So now it's like I learned a lesson after a few things. And now I try to measure everything and see if it's gonna fit, because then it's like if you order from Amazon or so, you can return it, but sometimes if you order something from another company or you go to a thrift store, whatever, you cannot return some of the things. So
I'm a sucker for a good sale. I bought a 10-pound bag of candy today, normally like $20. Ralph's had them which is the equivalent of like Fred Meyer's, for $5.
Cool.
So I got this huge bag without even thinking. It's like, nobody's going to eat this except for me and Carlton, maybe Ashburn. It's like, oh, come on.
They last for a while. So.
It's just another one of those things like, I don't need this much. What am I doing?
Yeah, sometimes if you get too excited, you get buying things that you don't really need, but you don't. Or if they are like insane and it's a lot.
Yeah,
and then
I'm a huge impulse buyer. Good sale, like that's just who I am. If it's just a perfect deal, you're never going to find that deal again. I'm an impulse buyer. I don't care. I'll find some use for it.
Yeah, I am like that too.
Same way, also.
It's like there are some offers that you cannot resist, and you have to get them.
Yeah.
My mom used to be like that. She's probably watching this right now, so sorry, Mom. But you always ask her, like, why did you buy like, I don't know, 5 dozen or something? It was on sale.
Yeah.
That was like her normal thing all the time. It was just coming home with things like, what are you going to do with all that stuff? It's like, give it to you, give it to your brother, that kind of thing. It's like, well, I don't think
my parents were hoarders. So you want to talk about just useless things or just random things? We couldn't even use our dining room ever because my parents were hoarders. But sometimes they brought home some cool stuff. It's like, oh my God, this is a cool find. Good job. Other times, like, what are we going to do with this?
Exactly.
I definitely feel like a hoarder sometimes too, because when I work on some indie film sets, like I'm usually asked to work in art department, so I usually set dress or set deck or something, and because like in Seattle we don't really have prop houses, and like we don't really there's an inability to kind of like rent stuff. I just go out with whatever budget and I just go buy stuff from thrift stores or wherever, right, to kind of find stuff. And then like once you get to set, you kind of set up everything. I'm the type of person where I will buy extra stuff thinking I might need it, but I'm never really use it. So then I have all this extra stuff, like once the set is done, like once we're done with production, then that's like okay, what do we do now? Do I sell everything or do I just keep everything? And I keep everything. So like I have, like there's one spare bedroom that's supposed to be like a guest bedroom, but it's actually just a storage bedroom.
It's a storage, yeah, of course. It's a storage unit. Yeah.
So many pillows of like different, like, and they're not even like, I don't even think they're like great quality necessarily. It's just kind of like whatever fit the style. So like if I had to fit out like a country kind of like grandma grandpa style home, like I had to go get like these more like older style vintage like antique type of like decor, and then I had to fit out like a teenage girl's room, so I had to go and like find stuff for that too. And I'm like, that's not really my style at home, so I can't really repurpose that to decorate my house, and then like, so what am I gonna do with all the stuff? And it just sits there, so.
But see, you're not a hoarder, you're a collector accumulating for your profession.
That's a difference. Yeah.
My excuse. So do you do a lot of production designing too?
I occasionally, like I don't really, I think so in the year 2019, last year, I guess I worked on maybe like 5 or 6 different productions. And it just kind of, they were really like low budget though. So like there wasn't like a whole lot I had to buy for. It's mostly props and stuff. But I would prefer, like if I'm not writing and directing, my favorite thing to do is to do set dressing. So like
that's awesome. Yeah, like I have a lot of stuff too, but it's for the performances. Like I am like you, like, okay, I am in a budget, so I have to go and be creative and take one thing and make it different, or transform things. So I have quite a collection too. I try not to be like chaotic, but yeah, like sometimes I am renewing things that I don't really use. I don't know, I just donate them most of the time because I'm really bad at like selling things. Like it's not my thing. Yes. So yeah, most of the time it's like I just donate things and get new ones, and that's a cycle. I need to keep the cycle, and because like I said before, it's not like a big house. But yeah, and there is things too, like, okay, I am not gonna need this, and then I give it away. And then 2 months later, oh my God, I gave away the thing that I can use right now. So yeah, I understand when you get extra things or when you give away a thing and then thinking that you're not going to use it, and then suddenly you need it. So it's frustrating sometimes.
So what's the hardest thing for you guys to get rid of? For me, it's jewelry. I don't care if it's something I haven't worn in 15 years. I just can't get rid of it. My grandma gave me like a tub of jewelry, and it's all costume jewelry. I can't bring myself to get rid of any of it, even though I'll never wear any of it. I just can't. So what's your thing?
Stories probably will be the hardest thing to, or dresses, or I don't know, like there are some clothes that I don't wear at the time that I wear just in the conventions or whatever when I am like in character. And then sometimes like, oh, I wore this already, and I have a lot of pictures with it, so I can wear it again. So, but I don't want to give it. I don't want to, like get rid of it because I love it, so I just keep it. Yeah. Now I have been learning, like, okay, if I wear it before, I don't care if they see me with the same thing again. It's like I will try to, wear it so it's not there, just, storage or whatever, storing there. And another thing that is hard for me to get rid of is shoes, because I love shoes. I love platforms, and some of them is like, oh my God, I can wear those more than 4 hours, and they kill my feet. But I try to find the occasion, like, okay, if I am going to this place and it's just gonna be like for 2 hours, I wear them. But yeah,
or if it's mainly sit down.
Yes. So it's hard for me to get rid of accessories mostly, like you said, usually some clothes. And shoes, probably it's the hardest thing for me to get rid of.
Christiana? How about you?
I think I'm just looking around and I'm like, oh, it's weird because we keep a lot of boxes. So like whenever, because sometimes I do very like casual photography. So like if I get like like a new lens and it comes in the box, like I take the lens out of the box, but I keep the box, also, and it just sits there. It's empty. It's like obvious. It's like a whatever lens box. It's nothing. It's just the packaging. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at, for example, John got like a new FX pedal, and like the box is there too, so it's like the box is still there. I don't know, like and I'm just like looking around and seeing how we still have old textbooks from school. Like what are we doing with them? And like they're heavy, right? They're heavy, and then when you have to like shift things from room to room, or like, you know, for us, we were planning on like potentially moving like next year. And I know that I haven't told Mark that, but we were thinking about moving next year, and like we'd have to like kind of consolidate a lot of stuff, you know, and like kind of figure out what we want to keep.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. Moving is a nightmare, regardless if you have a lot of stuff or not. It's always like draining. Well, in my experiences, like moving is so draining.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. You like moving?
You get a brand new space. You get to create whatever you want. It's constantly changing, and you get an exodus of stuff you don't use anymore. You find stuff that is like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. I've moved my entire life. I've never stayed in the same place for more than a year or two. Like that's been my maximum.
Oh, cool.
So it's always been kind of cool to see a turnover. But this last move I did, I'm sad because two things that are very dear to me, they vanished. I don't know where they went. I'm like, that's awful. And that's just part of moving. Unfortunately, some things just disappear.
Yeah, you lost things. Some things break. Some things get damaged. So it is.
Yeah. So where are you going to move to?
We were thinking about moving to New York City for
a
couple of years just to see what it's
NYC.
like. Yeah.
You know, it's like really shut down right now, right?
Yes. Yeah. So,
Okay.
well, we were planning on actually staying there for a month in January just to like check it out, you know, like
cold.
Yeah, very cold. Like survive and check out the winters there. You know, we rented an Airbnb, so we'll be there for the month and then stay indoors. We're going to be working from home, and just like, you know, ordering takeout or whatever, like just trying to,
He doesn't seem too happy right now.
I know.
No,
that face is like just.
No, here's the thing. I already knew this because she actually posted about this on her Instagram. So I don't know if you knew that. There was something, I think in the story that you said that you and John were trying to move and you're trying to find the most equitable place to move to. I didn't know it was New York, but I knew you were trying to get out of here. And you actually told me that back in February before the pandemic, too, when we were having drinks, that you were like trying to figure out what's the best place to do, you know, movies or anything else you're trying to do. So it's not a surprise to me. It's more of me just kind of, I'm just trying to listen. This is my bitch face, I guess. When I'm not engaged.
Yeah. It's just regular face.
Yeah.
I love
your
my
everyday
East Coast
face.
DPs. There's so many good people out there for photography, producers. Like I work in the film industry for my day job, and I love the clients over on the East Coast. And I'm working with some agencies right now to hopefully get some things moving. But yeah, it's a good place to be. Atlanta's another little hot spot that always has things going. Florida too, for some reason. Florida. Don't even get me started.
Yeah, it's interesting like that you mentioned the DPs because the DP that I work with here in Seattle, mainly like for my shorts, is from the East Coast, from New York. So like,
awesome.
I don't know what it is. It's like there's just some sort of like different style. You know, there's a certain style. There's a different type of like you know, there's a certain quality to like what comes out of the artistry, you know, of the East Coast. So I'm just like, this is cool. Yeah, I would love to check it out over there. Yeah,
astound me. Like one of the people I get to work with is David Franco, and he's got to work on Boardwalk Empire, Westworld, Game of Thrones, and like even when I started my job, I'm like, you have David Franco on your roster list. This is astounding to me. And he's just an amazing human. And so many of the other DPs, directors of photography that I get to work with are just some of the most amazing human beings.
Yeah.
We just booked a new shoot just yesterday. I'm seriously stoked about it. I can't say anything about it, but I was literally just like squealing in my chair. I'm like, oh my God, we got this job. We got this job. And it's so fun. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not throwing shade, you know, to the West Coast DPs or anything like that. You know, it's just, it's just more of like, you know, having been a part of the Seattle film scene, like it is a very small community. It's like a really, really small community. And so one of the main reasons why we've selected NYC is because of the art, the arts, the music, the theater, the film, and just seeing like what the opportunities are like out there.
Yeah, here
Absolutely.
is like, I think there's a lot of talent here, a lot different talent, but I think
Yeah.
like the art scene itself is not that well paid, and it's not, I don't know, it's weird. It's like very
Yes.
local. Like if you want to go and do something more nationwide, like if you live here, you don't have like a lot of opportunities to distribute or getting more contacts or getting into, like a bigger promotional thing. I have noticed that about Seattle, which is, it's sad because, like I say, I have met a lot of talented people here in, in different disciplines. But yeah, the friends that do the same thing in other cities, especially in the East Coast, they do way better and they are more recognizable. Yeah, and they have more work to pay jobs.
Yeah, for the
Good
West
paid
Coast,
jobs.
Vancouver, BC, or Los Angeles,
Yeah,
we have
those
some
are the
amazing
places.
DPs down in Portland, and one of our DPs has actually built this huge set with an LED screen, so he can change the scene to be whatever he wants. And he had a viewing this, I think, 2 weeks ago, and just watching everything, it's just amazing. The set he's created was just these huge 3 LED panels.
So cool.
It's phenomenal.
Wow.
But that's Portland, but we intend there's a project up in Seattle. We have to travel in the DPs, which it's fine.
Yeah,
And
I think
BC's
Portland
closed, of
is
course, right
better. I have the
Yes.
feeling that Portland is better for art than Seattle, like way
Yes.
better. Like I haven't performed there at all, but I know people who perform at all, and I see their pages or the events that they put on, and it's like a different level, and I can see the audience or the people are more supportive there too.
Do you ever do Metal-esque Fest?
No, I haven't been there, but I have seen, like all those, like online pictures or videos, and you can tell the vibe is different. Or I have talked with performers too that are from Portland, and they tell the same, that the people is more supportive there, that you can find more
100%.
events there. And yeah, so I think that the art scene is way better in Portland.
Yeah,
too.
especially if you're like a burlesque dancer. We have Metal-esque down there. We have Dante's. I mean, we have so many amazing things down there. I used to shoot all the time when I lived there, and I used to look forward to that every year. It's like, oh my God, it's time for Metal-esque, and let's do this. It's so much fun.
No, I never heard of that one, I think. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I will go and check it. Yay. So, but yeah, it's like, I have seen like a lot of performers from there that I were more, like you can hear more about them in there, and especially in LA too, like all kind of performing thing. It's bigger there. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only throw in that, and Christiana, you know this, that this is the time to do it in terms of what you're trying to do artistically. The longer you wait, the worse it's going to get in terms of you trying to accomplish your dreams. So take it from the 50-year-old person. Do it now and keep working at it and keep working hard at it. And if you find that there's a gatekeeper locally, or if there's a gatekeeper in New York or whatever, work around that gatekeeper. Go to the next person. Don't
right
let
now nobody's wanting to travel in.
Yeah, don't let that stop you, because you're your best advocate. So if you work hard at it, that's what's going to start making things happen. But if you don't believe in yourself and what you're doing, then who else is going to believe in you? That's what it boils down to. So it's easier said than done. I understand that, but I just know from my own stuff, it's like, how did any of this stuff happen? I can look at my wall right now and see Jeff Bridges up there. I mean, how the fuck did that happen 6 years ago? And that just kind of fuels me. And there's some part of me I can't really explain about where that fire comes from, but it's like, if I want to get something done artistically, I will try to keep, connecting to people and keep trying to network with people and try to treat people the right way. And then those that treat me the right way, then that becomes my tribe. And I keep, look what happened with Alice. I mean, I only met them 2 times 3 years ago. I'm not a friend of the band. I am now, but back then, I mean, they could have picked anybody to open up their tours, and that was from May through October. So I guess my point is that I always treat people the best that you can and make those connections, but also don't be a doormat. So if someone's being an asshole, you got to cut them loose and work around them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
An intentional asshole. Let's say that.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid or ask what you worth or what is fair. It's one of the things that I have learned too. Like, okay, like I get all the time like people asking me to perform in their events and but we are not paying. It's just for exposure or whatever. Like,
I
no.
hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
And like, no. Sorry, but I can do that. It's like, no.
I've had bands with 20 followers hit me up and say, "Oh, this is only for exposure. We expect you to do a 3-hour shoot and run us a studio." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Like,
That's not how it works."
No, at least offer something. Or I am open to work. I don't know, trade of services or whatever.
Oh yeah,
there are infinite options to work with, but don't ask me to do everything just for free. And like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Well, and I would hope that people start to learn, especially during this pandemic, of how important the arts are.
Yeah,
it's not something for free. Now you don't have any concerts to go to, so that's actually how they make a living. So when things come back, maybe you should value it that way.
Indeed, yeah.
That's been one thing with the pandemic is everyone is learning just how valuable this arts district is, and even with the Spotify thing going on right now, and they're realizing just how little the artists are getting paid, whereas the owner of this company and how much he is worth. They're saying it's like, hey, this isn't fair. Which is phenomenal. We've wanted this since Napster came out in the 90s. And people are finally starting to realize, oh, we should be paying for this.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, I did the virtual interview with Terry Butler from Obituary the other week. And that was such a sweetheart. And but people think for some reason, just in general, like if you're a casual music fan, that every band is like living fairly large, or they're fairly comfortable. It's like no, these guys bust their ass. That's why they make a living to pay for their families and their grandkids, in his case, and anything else that's going on. And this whole pandemic of shutting everything down, and Erica knows this too, that it's like they have to find survival jobs. They got to do whatever.
You have to. You need to have like side jobs,
a side hustle, whatever it is, just to make ends meet, because they are not living like that. They don't have thousands of dollars in their bank accounts. They have to continually work and keep doing that. And when it stopped, it created huge issues. And people think, well, that's Obituary. They've been around, since the 80s. Like, it's Obituary. It doesn't matter. Exactly. This is what they do for a living.
A key point to you. This huge band that everybody knows of is having issues. They're still having to work and find side jobs. There you go. I know people in very big bands right now. They're working at moving companies. They're washing dishes. They're doing Uber driving because they're trying to make ends meet right now. I mean, there is one musician. I got offered a little under the table job. I'm like, I know somebody who needs it far more than I do. Give it to him. And he took it gladly. I mean, just anything to help these people.
Yep. Yeah, no. And people know this that are, like I see Tony saying, don't take the arts for granted. From the venue to the photographer to the act, all of that, above. You got to do what you have to do during this time right now, and there's no shame in it at all. It's just like, hey, I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed, whatever it is, and it's like, and eventually when you can go back to doing what you do, whenever that is, because there's a huge question mark over that, then that time will come. But until it comes, then those bills don't stop. Those phone calls don't stop. So you got to do what you have to do. But it's just interesting that I think some people before the pandemic happened, they just kind of figure again that somehow arts folks are just kind of always getting by. They always have money. They always it's like, no, you're thinking like J-Lo or Beyonce shit or something, or Metallica.
Metallica.
You're not thinking of the bands that are grinding every fucking tour. Or it doesn't have to be bands. It could be film people. It could be theater people that they're selling real estate right now, trying to get their licenses because they don't have any income. So if things don't change, and we were talking about this with another guest, that especially from the music side, that we don't even let promoters, bookers, venues, which ones are going to still survive this? It's going to look so
Oh
different
yeah, that's super
down the
sad.
road.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super sad. Like
Nobody.
I have seen like a lot of venues that are closing down, restaurants, and
Mhm.
mostly venues that were only like for concerts or local shows,
Yeah.
and that was the only way that they had people in. It's super
Yeah.
sad. It's super sad they have
Yeah.
to close, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Hawthorne Theater in Portland is up for auction right now.
Oh,
So,
Oh wow.
but they promised they're going to keep it a venue until at least that agreement runs out. But yeah, Hawthorne Theater is up for auction right now. Whenever the contract ends for it to not be a venue anymore,
oh, yeah.
who knows? I
Yeah,
mean, that
that's
was my
super
home for
sad.
years.
Yeah, it's nostalgic and it's heartbreaking to see all those things like small theaters, all that.
Yes.
It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you've been there, obviously as a fan or as a media member
Yeah.
or both, you have so many memories of these places.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I
I mean,
know,
I don't.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, let alone the folks that work there that haven't had a job for 8 months or whatever it's been. And it's like, man, I was just starting to get to know some of these folks too at some of the venues
Yeah.
around here, and I do wonder how they're doing. And if things come back, is their building still going to be there, or is it going to be turned into a coffee shop or whatever?
Yeah.
Don't know, just don't know right now. So,
Yeah, it's super
Don't.
hard.
but on the flip side of that, we've also talked about with some of the other guests during the Atlas tour and some of my own interviews that the cracks in the foundation are so wide right now that if you actually want to do something and try to make some sort of change, this is actually the time to do it. Because typically those things just seal right back up. But right now it's like that shit keeps permeating and going in all kinds of different directions. So like if you had some kind of idea of how to make things better, get in there now, because it's all kind of, it's not concrete. It's all mushy right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
I've
time
loved
for
seeing all the new music coming out too. It's
Mhm.
been amazing. I mean, even Danny Elfman, I don't know if you've seen it, but he released a new video the other day, Happy. It is so creepy and perfect. Like, I'm in love with the song and the video. If you haven't watched it yet, do. I love Danny Elfman so much.
Oh my gosh, I gotta check that out.
Yes,
Yeah,
I need to check it out too.
yeah, me too.
He was
Yeah,
somebody
but
when
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just to say that I have seen bands or musicians releasing things, and that's amazing that they are
Yeah.
getting into it. Or some of them are recording right now, or like trying to get back to work.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I know with Elfman stuff, I did a short stint as an audio engineer at a computer company like 20 years ago. And so I remember when I was trying to figure out like what kind of projects were coming in that I needed to put sound to, I started grabbing a bunch of his soundtracks. There's some other kind of composers that I really liked, so I can try to get some flavor from what do these clients want. So if they say they want something kind of quirky and kind of dark, then I kind of know who I'm going toward to kind of figure out how am I going to make this stuff up. So I love kind of dissecting Danny's stuff. And one thing that I absolutely loved, which I'm just going to give a little plug since there's Tony here, and I don't know who else from the Alice tour is in the chat, but Alice did a Halloween set, and they did Dead Man's Party, and they did Ghostbusters, and they did Burn from the Crow and The Cure, and then they did Monster Mash. So they did those 4 songs, and the fact that when they started with Dead Man's Party, I was like, holy shit! I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Watching live is amazing, by the way. Like, getting experience that was.
Yeah, you just
Oh my God.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever want dark sounds, I mean, you always go to Danny Elfman or Martin Gore. Those are the 2 that you always go to in the scene. It doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Jerry Goldsmith too, like the Omen composer. It's super good.
yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Ennio Morricone, that he passed away recently. Like he had like a lot of
Oh yeah.
really good scores, like movie scores.
Yeah, it's amazing how much and we already know this, but how much the music changes what you're watching.
Oh yeah.
If it's film, television,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. Just put it on mute and just watch the scenes, and then put the music back on or whatever. And you're like, holy crap! I mean, it's like night and day, really.
Oh my
I
God!
just had a
Speaking of,
discussion with somebody about Queen of the Damned. Like, everybody loves that movie.
without the music, without the soundtrack, is it really a good movie still?
No, I think no movie is good without. If you take away the score, it totally changes the vibe of it. Like speaking of, I had the opportunity to see Fabio Frizzi, and they were playing the movie The Beyond in the background. So we watched the entire movie with the score live. It was amazing. Like really wonderful experience. It was like now I watch the movie
just
and it's not the same. I mean, the music is still there, but the experience to have the whole band and the composer there directing,
yeah.
It's really like wonderful.
Yeah.
Sony, was that here that you saw and heard that? Oh, she kind of froze.
Oh, hi. It froze. Yeah, it froze for a minute, I think.
Okay. Was that here that you got?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, I froze.
Oh no, Sony.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me try to get in.
Okay.
So Christiana, has John got into Jack White's pedal yet?
No.
To say that one more time.
Did John?
I will try to
check out Jack White's new guitar pedal yet?
Oh gosh,
try.
I don't think so.
It's actually pretty cool. Just the different signals it sends through. Like it's a tri-signal thing.
Oh
but
my gosh.
I don't know. You might like that. You should check it out. I had Carlton look into it. It's not his sound, but it might work for you guys as an indie.
Yeah, I'll if he's listening right now, he's probably just gonna pull it up and like Google it right now.
Sorry for the bank account. It's gonna be.
Oh gosh. Okay. Maybe not then. We'll see. Yeah, like I'm definitely one of those singers where I'm like, I don't want to touch anything. Just plug everything in and then hand me the microphone because I'm that person. I'm that person. Like, it's funny, yeah. And it's funny because like John's like, he's just like, it's all inputs and outputs. It's okay. Just everything syncs up, lines up like this, chains up like this. And I'm like, not for me.
No, that's classic singer. I don't care. That's classic singer.
Absolutely. It's funny because it is funny because like I studied engineering, like I studied electrical engineering, which is all inputs and outputs, and like you get to build the circuit, and I still like I'm like not gonna touch it. Nope, it's just plugging bigger wires into like other inputs and outputs, but still not gonna touch it. So
you had left the studio over here that Carlton has. It takes up half the living room.
Oh yeah,
I'm lost in it. It's just guitar pedals, bass. I mean, there's modulators, there's synths, there's a drum kit over here, there's guitars, basses, Z-tars, there's everything over here.
I love looking at it. I love seeing the space and like seeing all the different, like all the equipment and the lights. But as far as like
I won't touch it.
Yeah. As far as connecting things, I'm like, I don't really want to mess with anything. I don't know.
No.
Like which like the preamp goes in here, the what goes in where, like I don't know, like how do you sync everything up, and so that's something that I should eventually probably devote some time to if we're gonna make some electronica music.
Yeah. No, like so many things are daisy chained too. It's like I don't want to mess anything up. It's like this connected into this for this sound, this into this, and it's like I don't know.
Yeah. We see eye to eye.
I'm just a simple photographer. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my gosh. Well, even like when it comes to like, but photography, like especially, I don't know. I obviously like don't know anything. Like I don't know everything about the camera. So it's like, I mean, like I know what I want to get kind of like at the end. But then I end up usually, so I try to get the cleanest photo, but then like I usually do a lot of editing at the end just to like fix the lighting, or you can only go so far
Yes.
though with the
Yes.
post production, so like I try my best. I haven't done it in a while, but like I'm hoping next year or so, like I can kind of like rekindle some I don't know, art directing or something like that of some photo
do it.
shoots. Yeah.
I'm still learning so much. It's absolutely ridiculous how much there is to learn. So I never took a course for it. I fell into it completely by accident. Mark knows this. Like, I never wanted to do photography, ever. Here I am.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. I had a vendetta against it because my dad did photography, and I didn't want to touch it because of that. But it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sony's having connection issues, so she thought she was going to have to drop off. She wanted to say goodbye to you guys, but now there's two of there's two of her.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's chatting with me right now about it.
Yeah, I told her to log off for 5 minutes and try it again to log back in. She should be okay.
Okay.
She can also try clearing out the internet cache if she wants to.
Seems like we're all kind of self-taught on the photography. Well, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, Mark?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's funny. Like, I know some people who took courses and they're just absolutely astounding. Then other people are just like, no, I just fell into it and here I am.
Where did Mark go? Oh gosh.
Mark! So I guess we're hosting this. Hi, how are you? It's Friday night. So what has you guys been up to? Like band-wise, have you been creating new music or?
Oh gosh. I mean, we've definitely stopped doing anything really musical. Like John will, he will occasionally like try to create some jams, or some, some loops or whatnot. And I will try to get in there occasionally, but we really haven't even been streaming recently. Like normally we'll play some acoustic sets, we'll play some covers and like just kind of spend an hour and a half doing that. But unfortunately it's kind of like I don't want to say it's died off. It's just like we've been very like unmotivated too. Also, it's been really hard. Yeah. So, but I'm hoping
everyone's feeling that.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that things will like start to pick back up. But it's hard to tell, right? Like, I mean, usually the winter months are really tough too, right? Like for kind of like freelancing or that kind of thing. Like I know that usually in the film world it's really slow during the winter time.
Yes.
Yeah. And then as far as like music stuff, there's the holidays that are kind of like in between everything, and it just kind of depends on your obligations and stuff. So yeah.
That's funny. We were just talking about Burn earlier. Stabbing Westward, which is part of my boyfriend's project, is they just released a new EP and it has a bunch of covers on it. And there's Halloween, Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen. Burn is on there, which is just amazing. So if you get a chance, like they did a great job on those covers. So covers they're doing great right now. Actually, it's pretty cool to see everybody's rendition on the same exact song.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Me too. Yeah.
Being a huge Crow fan myself of the comic book and everything else that came after
Same.
that I love hearing anyone's rendition of anything to do with that film. Same. So even like when their drummer Steve started doing the drum part, I was kind of like, no, are they really going to try to do their version of Burn? And sure enough, then Scott started doing the guitar part, and I was like, oh shit. And they kind of made it their own. They kind of deviated a little bit from the original, but it was still really impressive. And we did lose Sony. She said thank you so much for being here, and that everybody was really sweet. Yeah, and she loved doing this. And I plan on having her come back hopefully for another one. I don't know what the connection thing was, and then obviously I left for a little bit too. So I'm like, what the hell just happened? Yeah, so am I in Kansas anymore? What's going on here? Yeah, because I heard Christiana kind of backtracking, asking about. It seems like everyone's kind of self-taught about the photography thing for the most part, and I kind of fall. it's kind of weird for me to think about that. Almost anything I do with Eclectic Arts, it kind of happened organically. It wasn't like some massive plan. Okay, I'm going to do this now, and then I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to be this film reviewer for 20 companies during the pandemic. It all just kind of happened naturally, which is awesome. I love it, but at the same time, I kind of think, when's it going to run out? Like when I have like another thing, I don't really know because it's not intentional. But then at the same time, once those opportunities came, then I made the most of them. I just kept pushing on things. But it was never like that. Yeah, they're like, I know Erica was talking about, there's other people that have, gone to photography school and have studied things and have degrees in it. And that's awesome. And they're great that all their post work, they've taken workshops after workshop after workshop. And, some of this work I see is just tremendous, but that is not me.
Yeah.
That's not me at all. And part of me, it's part of the, I guess you could say it, part of the fun is the learning process of trying to figure this stuff out on my own. I like taking pride in that when I can see, a difference from like 6 months ago to now. It's like, oh yeah, I've definitely gotten better at whatever it is. And I don't want someone to necessarily show me unless I really get stuck. I'd rather kind of take the time to sit there and put my hands into that and just start kneading around with it and figure out, this is how I should be writing this review. This is how I should be doing interviews. This is how I should be doing that. And never being satisfied. That's part of it too. I always want to get better, always. Because I've had a few people DM me about, especially when the interviews with Alice were happening, they're kind of like, Mark, how did you develop your style? And it's like, well, there's not enough time in the day to talk about it, because a lot of it's not just the media stuff. It's my professional life and my personal life. All of these things kind of culminated in what I do or how I do it. And it's not gonna stay this way. Hopefully if I'm still doing this, a year later, it's that much different and hopefully that much better. And I think most creative people are kind of like that. They might be satisfied for a little while, and then they kind of like, oh, I could have done that better, or I could have done that shot differently, or I could have asked that question. Yeah, we kind of beat ourselves up. But that's also
my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's that drive. That's that drive that said, you know what, I can do this differently next time, or I can do it better next time. And as long as that drive is there, and then you're going to continue to create, and you're going to continue to push yourself, and hopefully inspire other people. It dumbfounds me that anyone thinks that what I do, especially interview-wise, is interesting. It's like I don't view myself that way at all. But they're like, no, Mark, I'm a fan of your work. And I'm kind of like, huh? Okay, yeah, I've done these interviews and everything, and yeah, I do work hard at it, but I don't know, just kind of strange. It's something I have to kind of grasp with and get better at, accepting the fact that I'm kind of influencing other people, and it trips me out. It really does. So, but it also makes you feel good too, when other people generally say that, hey, I really like what you're doing, and can you kind of spend some time or give me some tidbits or some pointers about what you're doing. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And I see, Tony's still here. And Tony's definitely a big fan of Erica's work, and I know he knows Christiana's stuff because he's a huge Alice fan, so he's been watching stuff, and he's a photographer himself over in Pittsburgh. So, like you said earlier in the chat about beers are on him if you're ever over in that area, Christiana. When you go to New York, just bop down south. It's unfortunate that he's a Steelers fan, but we won't go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Tony. Kind of, sort of, maybe not.
Sort of made me know.
Yeah, exactly. He knows, for me being a Seahawk fan and him being a Steeler fan, it's kind of like, yeah, you know what, you guys are undefeated. But ever since the Super Bowl, I can't. I like certain players that have played with the Steelers. I'm not going to disparage the entire team, but overall, it's like, yeah, terrible towels, go away.
I'm still mad about the last game, though.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah,
that was our game. We lost that game because of our play and our calls. That was
I mean, you can't deny it was completely us.
Yep.
But I wasn't even worried about that game going. I'm like, it's Cardinals. Who the fuck cares? Seahawks didn't take it seriously, and look what happened. Yeah. Our defense sucks.
It does. It's nice getting Snacks will be in there at some point, and then the dude from the Bengals that we just got next week for the Buffalo game. I know he'll be ready to do then, but I don't know if it's enough. based on what I'm seeing. And I did watch the Steelers a little bit. I watched the Titans. I watched some of these other, teams that are doing well. It's like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to match up well with these teams down the road in the playoffs.
The only one I'm really worried about is the Green Bay game, because I'm not going to lie, Green Bay they're kicking ass this year. They're doing phenomenal. They have a perfect structure that they've done. Like, I think they've restructured everything, and they're killing it. They're just absolutely killing it. And I think our game is in a couple more weeks. I think we're up against the 40 Winers here this next week.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I
know I'm getting a lot of hate for that one.
No, it's cool. I don't even know how to talk to football. Like, I really don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Yeah.
But I remember you said you've been to a game though, like a preseason game for the Hawks.
It was just I think it was last year. It was last year. Yeah. So
hey, that's better than some.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say this: being down here in LA, we have some Seahawks bars down here. So it's a little home away from home. Like, one is just down the road from me, the other one's 5 minutes more away. They're all owned by people from Seattle, but they full go blue and green for the games. I love
cool.
It. Nice.
Yeah. We have our own little community down here. It's awesome. Even Dean Carr, he's a huge photographer, he's a huge Seahawks fan.
Nice. My knowledge of football is I know a good game when I see it from Captain Blackwood. Okay, I see Tony's laughing. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I understand, sports aren't for everybody, but I kind of grew up with them, and football's probably number one for me. Everything else is kind of a distant second. And especially with the Mariners, I mean, good God. I mean, they have some prospects now, but they always have prospects. And every year it just doesn't pan out. So
no, it doesn't ever for us. But baseball, I'm completely lost on. But when the Dodgers won down here, I'm like, what the hell's going on? People are hooting and hollering and screaming. Fireworks are going off. People are, what is going on? Carlton, they were like, hell. Then somebody went out to their deck out here. They're like, go Dodgers! Like, oh, World Series. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and for me, I was fine with the Dodgers versus the Rays. I just wanted to make sure that Houston didn't get in there because of all the cheating they did, and they almost got in. That's what was bad.
That was scary.
Like,
should not have been like that at all. Not even close.
Yeah, and Tony. That's right. Tony says I was rooting for the Hawks in the game last week against the Cardinals. That's right. You messaged me about that you were rooting for the Hawks. So we appreciate that. That support. It wasn't enough, but we appreciate the support. But it's going to be a good game against the Winers on Sunday.
Yeah.
Both backfields are emptied out right now. A lot of injuries in the running position, so you're going to have a lot of throwing going on, a lot of passing, and the Niners, unfortunately, are starting to come together. Even though they have injuries on their roster, they're starting to play pretty well.
Jimmy G's back and doing well. So
yeah, and if this was pre-COVID times, then the 12th man would be there. So it's the home game. That would make a big difference, but doesn't mean shit now. So
no, just certain stadiums are having, I think, a max capacity of 12,000 people, which is still amazing to have that many people. But our beautiful new stadium down here, amazing stadium, empty. It's like this was supposed to be the opening year for this brand new, just beautiful stadium.
Is that something, Erica, that you would ever consider doing if you had the opportunity to shoot sports?
I would consider it, absolutely. Getty actually had an opening for a sports photographer. I applied for the hell of it, but I don't have any sports background, so I was turned down graciously. They said they keep my name on file. But, oh my God, if I had a chance to shoot the Seahawks, I would die. I mean, Metcalf, Wilson, come on, it doesn't get any better than that. No way. Unless it was Dan Marino or John Elway or something like that, but it's not going to happen.
Oh, and now if someone mentions Formula One to me, that's a conversation I can continue on. Okay, and that's one that I can, unfortunately, Captain Blackwood. I don't know Formula One or NASCAR or any of the car circuit at all. I'm not even a bumpkin. I'm less than a bumpkin when it comes to that stuff. I don't know it at all. Maybe someone will explain to me what the appeal is of that. I don't quite get it, but
Sipped up cars going as fast as they can.
yeah, and I understand how hard it is to go those, umpteen laps at that speed. I understand that part of it, but I don't understand the allure of it, I guess, because I have a friend who's way into NASCAR, and he tried to explain that to me. I still didn't understand it.
No, that's how my uncle was. Like, he's a huge NASCAR fan. I mean, huge, like classic stereotype NASCAR fan. I just never understood. It's like, no, this is so amazing. It's exciting. I'm like, they're going around. It's left turn. What? I don't understand. And you try to explain it's just the engine capacity. I'm like, oh, that's fine, but there's other car sports where it's not left turn. It's actual like driver maneuvering and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
it's beyond me.
I'm right there with you. I'm at a loss. I'm kind of like, where's the football game?
Exactly.
But yeah, I know Christiana's kind of like you just said. Like I
was just gonna say.
So,
I don't know. Yeah, I am. If there's something that I wish that I was better at, would be like sports or athletics. I say that. I think I said that a couple of times. I think in previous fun tables too. I just like. That's something that I just never like really focused on, and like I'm like not a very athletic person also, and I think that probably like I don't know kind of comes together. And yeah,
but didn't you run a half marathon though?
Well, I did, and that was because my friends were like, "Hey, you want to run a half marathon with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then like I didn't realize what I was getting myself into, and then realized I had to train. I did have to train for like 2 to 3 months in order to like not break down like during the run. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I really enjoyed running. I mean, I was starting to like, I was starting to like feel it kind of felt meditative sometimes, but for the most part, I was just like, I don't know, it's so much running for such a long time, and I don't do it. Yeah, I can't.
If somebody likes running, run away from them. They're crazy. I'm sorry. If you enjoy marathons and you enjoy running, something's wrong with you. There's something wrong.
Like, I mean, I think I trained up to like maybe 8 or 9 miles, and then I just did, the half marathon, and it was like what, 13 and a half miles or something like that. 13.1 miles. And I'm just like running it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt, everything hurts, like what? And then so I completed it, and then like a couple years later, my other friend was like, hey, you want to run a half marathon?
No.
I was like, okay, if you do it, I'll do it. So I did it again. And probably I would say those were probably the most athletic points of my life, was just like, because I did yoga and I did running and I did all these things. I don't know. I'm like a very like casual person when it comes to sports. Like I dabble in things. Like I dabbled in yoga, and I dabbled in kickboxing, and I dabbled in like other things. And it's just like, I don't really commit to anything. And so I don't really learn how to do everything correctly. I just get in my exercise occasionally. Yeah.
Yeah, but that definitely counts. I mean, don't discount it. I mean, I've never done 2 half marathons, and I've never done kickboxing. I have tried yoga, and that was a disaster for me. I understand. I understand how how it helps a lot of people, though. So it's something I probably should try to look back into. But my mom used to run when I was younger, so then I started running with her. So we started doing 10Ks together when I was like probably in 5th or 6th grade. I still actually have one of the prizes that I I won for crossing the line. They had this thing where like how you have like a bib on you when you run. And apparently, like if there was a sticker on the back of the bib, then you won something. I didn't realize this. And so when I got there, they're like, "Oh, let's look at your bib." And I don't even know if I had a sticker on it, but because I was a kid, they're probably like, "Oh, there's a magical sticker that appeared on the back of your bib." And they gave me like this stuffed Bigfoot thing that I still have. I never got rid of it. And the T-shirt that's on him is the one that I wore. Like a size kid small or whatever T-shirt that I put on his body. So I still have that whole thing. But then I did track in junior high, but I was stuck on the distance team because I was never fast ever. So they were having me do the 800, the mile, and then I fractured my foot during a race. Here's I guess this is the universe telling me something. I fractured my foot during the race, and that was my best race ever. I actually placed 4th.
Wow.
So I didn't stop. I actually finished the race with a fractured foot. Amazing pain coming through my leg and everything. I didn't know what had happened, but I was just happy that I got 4th place finally, because I did like 6th or 7th or 10th or whatever, and then that was the end of my season. So
wow.
But that comes from my family. Everybody at some point has jogged or run. I used to go to the track all the time, but now my joints won't really put up with it, so I have to walk when I'm out there. Mm-hmm. But I know swimming's good for you when you have joint issues and all these other kind of old people things. But it's always good. It's always good to exercise, though. I don't think there's anything bad about that in terms of how it helps your health and your mental state and all that kind of stuff. It's good to clear your head out. So if it's just going around the block for a walk, it's always good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the most athletic thing I ever did was SantaCon. Are you familiar with that?
No.
What?
SantaCon is a huge thing up in the Northwest where everyone dresses up as Santa or some holiday-related person, and you just go bar to bar and drink, and at the end, there's a run. I did it one year with my ex, and I busted my knee out because I have 2 bad knees. So I grew too fast in a year. I grew 9 inches within a year. So my knees are just screwed up. Well, it turned out if I tried to run, kneecap went to the side of my leg and I just went down.
Oh, no.
But I kept going.
Wow.
So I did that in paintballing, done a couple other little things. They're fun. Marathon. I don't know how you guys do it. Could never.
I mean, like, I definitely had to train up for it for sure. And then like the second time that I did it, I was wearing like a knee brace, and I had the compression socks and everything. Like I had more stuff that I prepared myself with so I could reduce the amount of pain while running through it. So it was just like, and it helped out a lot. Like I think just having the gear and stuff always really helps. And that's kind of stuff, that kind of like is a weird segue to, like, for example, like hiking or something like that too. Like I realized, once I got a good pair of hiking shoes, I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to feel like after a hike, versus like, being in like sneakers or Vans or Chucks or whatever.
Can't do it.
It's just like not good for your ankles and stuff.
No, get a good pair of barrels and you're good to go. But with running, you're talking about knee braces, ankle braces, all this stuff. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself. That should be a stop right there for you to say, oh, running's so much fun. Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
I think, Tony, I was a runner till I tore out my MCL in my left knee. Yeah. And like what Christiana was saying, when you have the right gear, or the proper gear, I think back to, I laugh about this now because in my job in South Seattle many years ago, we would do a bonding retreat with the staff. And so some brainiac who was totally into exercising and all this kind of stuff said, hey, we should go do this hike. And at that time, I was not exercising at all. I was just a blob. So it was going to be a pain for me to do any kind of exercising anywhere. But they decided to go do it. And right at the beginning of it, it was like, I don't know how many steps, maybe 30 steps to get to this trail. And I was already winded. I was already like gasping for air. And I'm like, I remember I even said to those guys, if the rest of this is like this, I'm out. I'm going back to the van and I'm just going to hang out. And they said, oh no, it gets better, Mark. There's cat tracks and stuff. And it'll be, and they were kind of right for the first half of it. But then the second half of it, oh God, I thought I was dying. It wasn't just me. There's a couple other people in our department too that were just dying up there. But we eventually finished it. But
Okay.
that was also kind of a good thing in hindsight, because it kind of told me like, damn, you're really out of shape. I mean, you need to get into some level of decency so that you can come back out. So I remember like maybe a few months later, I came back out there and there was no problem trying to do that type of hike. But I viewed it as a challenge. So I got to get, to a good place to be able to do this kind of thing. Because that was just sad.
No,
Oh,
not at
okay.
all. Yeah, no, like there was like one year where we did like it was my second hike of the probably my second workout of the year, and like we did Mailbox Peak here in Seattle, and like
That's insane.
it was before they like adjusted the trail to be quote unquote easier or like longer but easier,
They did
right?
that?
Yeah, I think so. Like I think there's a different like I don't know set of switchbacks. I haven't been back there since, but
Gotcha.
I remember having to stop like easily at least every I don't know like 10 seconds. Like just like I was like like hiking with my with my buddy.
Evil.
Yeah, and like you're just high knees the entire time, and then like every 10 seconds I'd be like, oh, I can't do this. Like how much longer is this? And it's like three one how many miles was it up? It's like is it 3.5 miles up? Something
It's
like
just over 3. It's
or
just over 3 miles.
like round trip, right? Is it round trip? So like in 1.5 miles, you have to climb like 4,000 feet or something like that. And then at the end, there's like a scramble over rocks. And I was like, am I gonna survive? Like,
No.
And I remember like I got to the top and I was like, oh, thank goodness, like I can just rest and eat a sandwich or whatever. And then on the way down, I was like, oh no, my knees.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
ankles. Yeah. Like at first I was like, oh yeah, it'll be okay, we're just climbing. And then like my joints were just like I think I was shaking. Like I was
I was gonna say you're shaking so bad. Your body's just giving out, and it makes it even worse.
Yeah, I was physically shaking on the walk back to the car, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna just hang out in the back seat, y'all like drive me home.
No, that's how I was. I don't know if you're familiar with Dog Mountain up in the Columbia Gorge in Southern Oregon. Like it's absolutely beautiful in Southern Washington. It's just balsam root everywhere down this beautiful green luscious hill. It's amazing if you can just make it up this trail, but it's 1.7 miles up and you climb about 3,000 feet.
Oh my gosh.
So you're just dying, you're gasping air. And what amazed me is trail runners use that as a training trail. So as I'm hiking up, these people are passing me 10 times over, just running up like it's no big deal. I'm like, I can't breathe. But I did it one year because like, okay, I know the trick this year. I'm going up with a bottle of wine, some cheese, and some grapes. And when I finally got to the top, I just sat there and I laid out a little picnic basket. And I met so many cool people doing that. But after doing that, I'm like, okay, I made up with a good hefty weight. I can do this other trail. Nope. So I feel your pain because that was just terrible. That was terrible. Like Dog Mountain was nothing compared to this.
Oh my gosh. Oh God. Yeah. It's just, I just think of like, it's like a cool thing to be like, oh yeah, I did it. And then you think back and it's like, man, that was painful.
That was terrible. I don't have any good memories of that at all.
Well, I know for myself that once I got to a certain point where I felt like I could go do even like just a basic kind of hike like Snow Lake or something, that in the summertime I took some of my students. I said, it's only for those that want to do it. This is not mandatory. We'll do it, on a day off kind of a thing. And I kept warning them about don't bring extra things. Like someone wanted to bring like extra stuff in their backpack or whatever. I was like, no, pack light. Light is what you want, because I've already done this and I don't want to have to carry your crap up because you can't make it. So please adhere to this. And all of the students did except for one. And I was looking at her stuff and I was like, this is before we got there. So I'm like, we're taking some of this stuff out. There's no way you're bringing a basketball and whatever the hell else she had in there. And we took stuff out and she still had probably not even a third of the way into that hike. She just was gasping for air. She was having a real tough time. And I was to a point where I was like, you know what? are you going to be able to make this? I need to bring you back because I'm responsible for her and it's one of my students.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into this, but my ding dong coworker took off like a rabbit up that trail. So he left me with all the students. And I'd freaking told him ahead of time. I said, we need to be, this is not about you. It's about the safety of the students. So if you're on your own, do whatever you want. But right now, I'm in the back, you're in the front, and the kids are between us. So that's how it's got to work. So if you turn around, you should be able to see me somewhere. If you can't, then you're going too fast. You need to stop. And he just took off. So I'm already pissed at him. And then now I've got a student who's struggling, clearly struggling. So I told the rest of the students, just follow the path. I'll catch up to you. I didn't know if I had to bring her back down or not. She said, no, I can make it. I said, well, give me your backpack, even though there wasn't a lot of stuff in it. Let me get some stuff off of you, and I'll carry it. So I'm carrying 2 backpacks up this trail, and she was still struggling with it. So I'm like,
poor thing.
Just take some time. We can stop as much as you need to. And at the same time, I'm fuming outside of my head because of where my coworker is. And I'm just hoping that the other kids are, smart enough to kind of follow the path and get where they need to go to the top, which they did eventually. And then we've got up there. I said, hey, so have you guys seen so-and-so? Again, I'm not going to say his name. And they're like, no, we got up here and we don't know where, we haven't seen him at all. And there's no cell service, obviously, up there, on the mountains. Yeah. So I'm like, well, what the F? What am I supposed to do now? I got to bring all the kids back down and I don't know where he's at. About maybe 20 minutes into waiting, I see him coming from some other trail. Like he just kept on going. And then eventually he came back and I was ready to kill him. I'm not that kind of person, but man, he got me. He pushed my buttons in the worst way. And so I was trying to not talk to him, not say anything. I just talked to the students, say, okay, it's time. We're going to head back down to make sure we get down the trail, get traffic to get back to Seattle, all that kind of stuff. And immediately once I got back there, our boss was standing out in the parking lot saying, Mark, how come it took you guys so long? And I was like, because we didn't know where so-and-so was. And I don't normally throw people on the bus, but I mean, this was clearly where he effed up. And it said, it's that the safety of the students, I was concerned about them. And then, so if you want to have a question about what happened and why we're late, go talk to that guy. And my boss is really even-keeled, a really nice, quiet kind of guy. I heard him actually raise his voice at my coworker in his office.
Man.
So it got ugly. And then, the coworker came out and apologized to me for doing what he did. So he owned up to it. But it's like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Because we had parents there waiting in the parking lot waiting to pick up their kids. And because we were late, they're like, what happened to them? Is everything okay? Is everything safe? So it would have been if some jackass didn't take off on us and do his own little excursion in the mountains.
Jesus.
But I learned, I learned from that moment forward, like if I'm going to plan anything, I'm just going to plan it for myself with the students. And if he wants to tag along or whatever, I'm not going to count on you for anything.
No.
Because I can't. You actually put us in jeopardy. That was the biggest thing. Something bad could have happened and I would have been stuck trying to figure out what am I supposed to do. Kid breaks his leg, whatever out there, get attacked by a cougar, who knows? But that was many years ago, and I still it makes me mad right now.
Your blood's just boiling right now. I can see it.
It's like, where is he? Where? But the kids had a good time. They didn't really know things were awful, and I kept my composure.
Good.
But oh god. But I haven't gone hiking in a long time. I like being outdoors. That's always a plus for me. Being here in Edmonds, I'm close to the water. I love being around that kind of the nature stuff. That'll never change ever since I was a little kid. I don't know. Just kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, I miss hiking a lot. We did a couple right after the pandemic started. We'd go out with some friends, but haven't really that much lately because it just got too hot. It's finally cooling down again, so maybe we'll start up again. But I definitely miss hiking behind waterfalls in the Columbia Gorge and stuff like that, all my meditation spots. I don't know if they're there anymore after the fire. Like when the Eagle Creek fire happened back in 2014, 2015, several of my meditation spots gone. So I don't know if it's
even more destroyed now after the fires we had this last year. Don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know either. And even just in general, I think about the fact that we've had the aftermath of the fire smoke stuff being up here in Seattle a couple summers now. That I know as a kid or as a teenager, even I don't ever remember that kind of stuff coming up this way. It's only been in the last few years where it's like, what the hell is going on? I remember I took a picture of it, put it on Facebook outside of my door, of like, oh, this looks like fog right now. It's like, no, that's smoke, and that's ash on my car.
Yeah, like it was strange on the Eel Creek fire. I remember walking out to my deck and it looked like it was snowing outside. It was ash. And I was a good 30, 40 miles away from the fires then, but it was just drifting so far because it was such a bad fire then. It was raining ash. So bizarre.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing an interview with a gal that was based in New York, and I told her I had gone outside thinking there was some pollen on my car, and it's like, oh no, that's ash. And she was just like, I mean, she couldn't even like compute what that meant in terms of, she knew about the fires and stuff. It was national news and everything, but I said, yeah, that's what we're dealing with on the after side of it. Clearly, I was safe in terms of people lost their homes and property and all that kind of thing, but still, the residual part of it, it's like, this is what's going on right now. At least right now, I can go outside and take a big breath of fresh air and not go and start coughing and whatever else. And that's when they kept saying that. That's why if you're wearing a mask back in the summer, supposedly that was going to help. But in truth, that's not, depending on what kind of mask you had. If you have an N95, you're a nurse, you know this. So certain types of mask might help you, but not all of them.
No.
Oh, man. Do you ever miss that, Erica, the nurse work? Or is like, I'm glad I'm done with it?
I actually do miss it quite a bit. I miss my patients because I did it for 10 years. I watched some of my patients grow from just a little kid to whole teenager, taller than I am, and I miss that. But there's so many things I don't miss. Like I saw patients who had been on the same medication for 15, 20 years, almost no side effects. They were put on a different medication because they just got kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies to prescribe this medication. It became a thing where it was the bottom dollar is what it was. I got written up for a person coming in who had been in a car accident, bleeding from their head. And they had a dirty washcloth to their face. I'll never forget this person. I brought them back because we didn't take their insurance. I'm like, let me at least get you cleaned up so you can drive safely to the clinic that does take your insurance. So just sterile saline water, gauze, bandage tape, maybe $3 of supplies. I got written up because we couldn't bill for the supplies or for the time I took to take care of this person. I couldn't bill for the services. I'm like, this person could have gotten a car accident and injured others on the way to where they need to go. I'm not going to let them have a dirty washcloth to their face. That goes against my moral ethics. It was just stuff like that that made me leave it. But I miss it. I do.
That's terrible when you're trying to do the right thing. When you have the patient's best interest, and also just the general public at large, like you said. I mean, if they got into their car, they could have gotten in an accident and injured somebody else.
Yeah.
And then your reward for that is to get written up.
Yeah, it was just constant stuff like that. After 10 years, I was finally let go because I had too many of those incidents, and they were trying to get rid of people so they could bring in brand new people at half the cost, which it is what it is. I miss the surgeries. I miss my patients. I have great memories, but I'm okay. I'll keep those as memories. I can still suture like a motherfucker, though.
Nice.
And I have stories that can make people puke over dinner, too. I love it. I love it. Like, I've done surgery on people where I've gotten to touch their skull as they're talking to me. So, it's great.
Wow. I was just going to ask you about. I flashed back a little bit to Steve from Alice, the drummer, because he's an ER physician at Cedars-Sinai, and so I was asking Steve. I said, "Do you ever get tired of people, like friends or family, asking you for like free advice or that kind of thing?" He was like, "No, I don't mind that kind of thing at all." And then he was also talking about, I said, you must have seen some crazy ass things being an ER physician for 13 years. And he was just like, he didn't know where to start, kind of a thing.
Stories for days.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked dermatology and urgent care was my primary practice. And oh my God, so many amazing things. And some people, it's like, how are you still alive? How have you made it this far in life? I will never understand. Like, where's the sense in what you did?
Wow. Yeah. I was
Stories for days.
He was talking about, stuff coming out of every orifice. He was talking about when he wasn't even like practicing yet, but I think it was during his residency in New York, that there is some sort of criminal was there who got loose. And so he was running away from somebody. So the ceiling tiles were falling down on the floor that he was on. Like they didn't know what was going on.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, yeah, I guess for the average person, this would be so traumatic. But for him doing it for so long, so you just get used to it, and you get a little numb to it too at the same time in terms of the craziness of what you see. And he had taken on, I thought it was a New Year's Eve shift at some point down there, and he was like, just knowing that he's going to get into all kinds of weird ass shit coming in just because of the the time of year and all that kind of thing. And he's kind of like, yeah. I kind of walked into that one in terms of I shouldn't have signed up for that shift, but it's just like that's crazy to me. And you did it for about 10 years, was that right?
10 years, yeah.
Oh, Erica is even more badass now in my book, according to Tony. Oh yeah, Tony, you're right. The rapper that cut off his stuff was what Steve was also talking about. Something he saw. He couldn't say which rapper, but his genital area, I guess, had gotten cut or something like that. I'm like, I'd heard enough. I didn't need to hear more from that. But it's amazing that. Well, I shouldn't say it's amazing. I used to think it was amazing before I did the Alice tour that there's so many creative people that also have this other side in terms of like their day jobs or things that they do.
Yeah.
But then from talking to people, there's a lot of people out there in the exact same situation where they've got both brains going, they got both things going. And it was actually kind of comforting to me because you start thinking that we're a minority in that sense. It's like, no, there's a bunch of people out there like that.
Not even close.
Tony's saying Google it. Okay, well, maybe after we're done, I'll Google it.
How would you even go about Googling rapper genital mutilation or something like that?
Without, would you find the right one on the first Google try, right?
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that would be. Imagine if you do that and you see like a bunch of them, like a bunch of different ones. It's like,
I would not be surprised in the least.
I said, what are they doing? Oh my gosh.
Like my favorite thing is looking up Florida Man. I'm not gonna lie. There's so many out there. And they always make me feel instantly better about myself. If I'm ever having a day where it's like, I hate everybody, I hate everything, I look at that, I'm like, okay, there really is no hope for humanity. This is humanity at its greatest point. It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah, why is it that anytime you see some sort of crazy headline, it always goes down to Florida in terms of like...
Because it's the dick of America.
Yeah,
it just sticks its place. It sticks itself to where it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, they have the things that just, you're like, what the hell?
No, and I feel so bad. My stepdad lives down there now, and he's in the Panhandle part. I'm like, why? Why are you down there? Oh, it's great. What part of it is great? I don't understand. There's no logic.
Like Alex is saying, even though my parents live there, she's not wrong.
Exactly.
All the crazy shit comes from Florida. Well, COVID parties. Yeah, that's one amongst many things that we hear about that area.
Yeah, between there and the Kakalakis. Yeah.
Wow. Well, hey everybody. I think this is a perfect time. I don't know what happened to Anissa. She was supposed to come on, but maybe she got. That's why I kept checking my stuff to see if she was trying to email me or get a hold of me, but I haven't seen anything. But it's been awesome with all of you, and I know Sony wanted to stick around, so I don't. it's unfortunate that we had a connection issue or a Wi-Fi issue or something. But yeah, with Christiana and Erica, it's been awesome. It's been what? Oh shit! It's been like 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Did we break the record?
You know what? We're close. We can hang in here if you want.
Let's break the record. What do you
Okay,
think, Christiana?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
What
we'll
was
just go to
the-
10. We'll go to
what is-
10:30. 10
Okay.
more minutes. That'll
Okay.
break the record.
Ooh.
It's already 10:30. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. See, you know what's interesting about this kind of stuff? Yeah. So Alex is laughing about that and wants us to do. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna break the record. It's perfect. It's on the 30th. You know, I know all of us love horror stuff, and I love that. I loved Halloween more than Christmas as a kid. So,
Yes.
it's funny that it's not funny, but some of the times for me, it's hard because we have people in different time zones. So someone's on the East Coast, so it's already 12:30 or 1 or whatever, and then sometimes it's been international, so they're on a different day, and so it's like they don't want to drink. So like even next week, I can let people know. So like Captain Blackwood and Tony that are watching this, that next week, provided things don't change with my day job schedule, we will have another international guest who's in New Zealand. It's a different New Zealand guest this time. But we also have Renee Geerlings, who I'm super excited about because I've been trying to get Renee on. She, if you're not familiar with her, she used to be the editor-in-chief of Top Cow Comics. She was at Darby Publishing right now as a managing editor, but she's been in several horror films, Halloween 2 in terms of the Rob Zombie version. She co-wrote, co-produced, co-starred in Compound Fracture and also Penance Lane. And she happens to be married to Tyler Mane, who played Sabretooth and X-Men and a couple of other things. And she's like the funniest fucking woman and super smart, super witty. And I felt horrible because at the beginning of this month, she was trying to join this. I had one scheduled with her, but she said, we laugh about this now, but she said, okay. And then her next thing was like, may I know who the other guests are? So I thought she was saying, okay, I want to know who the guests are before I say yes to this. She was saying, okay, I'll do it. So when like October 2nd or 3rd came up, she messaged me. It's like, so Mark, how does this work? Like, where do I connect to? And I'm like, oh shit, we're not even doing it on the Friday. We actually moved it to the Saturday. I thought you weren't going to do it, and I didn't hear anything from you. And so she felt bad, thinking I should have said, I confirm, I'll do it. Yes, I'm on board. So we kind of had a mutual, fuck up, I guess you could say, on that thing. But she's coming. So she's
awesome.
Yeah, she's coming next Friday. She's been dealing with no power because of the hurricane that came through down in Georgia, in Louisiana and all that. She was out without power all yesterday, but hopefully things will be better by next Friday. And then, oh my gosh, and then someone who people love, she's also a veteran like Christiana, Nicole Bouffard is coming back. And Nicole's awesome, opera singer. Everything
she's so sweet.
Yeah, she's it's going to be a great mix between her and Nicole and Renee, and then we have Cole Jenkins, who's my actor who's over in New Zealand, who's going to be joining us. So that's going to be the fun table. And then after that, I have people that want to do them. I just got to figure out what the hell's going on with my job schedule because it looks like I might be working nights. So that might kind of fuck things up a little bit, but we'll see. Because I want to keep doing them, and I've been having fun doing these kind of things. So, but since we were talking about Halloween stuff, and that's kind of my background here amongst all of us, do you have certain films that you like to watch? Do you have something planned for tomorrow? You're just going to kind of surf to see what's available, or what kind of horror things are you into?
I like sci-fi horror, so Aliens, Predator, like those are my always go-to. But I'm excited for Mandalorian because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'll even be at my computer here. There's a bunch of Star Wars stuff. My car, when I first got it, was named the Death Star. It had the license plate DTHSTAR. Don't ever do that, by the way. It's cursed. Within 2 weeks of me having my brand new car, somebody drove into it. Get it fixed. A couple weeks later, somebody else drove into my car. Get that fixed. A couple months later, happens again. I'm like, I'm going to experiment. Take the license plate off. She's been pretty much safe since, knock on wood, but it was the cursed plate. It was Rebel scum trying to take out the Death Star. But yeah, those are my go-to Halloween films. And of course, anything murder porn related. I love the ID channel and stuff like that. It's terrible. I'm excited for Dexter coming back.
Ooh, I'm I'm very intrigued by like because I didn't really read up on it. I just only heard of it coming back, so I don't know anything about it. I mean, we watched all the way through the first, the initial series, and like, we have everybody has opinions about that ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm really intrigued to hear and read more about like what this next Dexter series is about. So
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it's the John Lithgow season was the end of Dexter for me. After that, it just plateaued and went off the cliff, completely off the cliff. So I'm hoping they can redeem themselves with this new. I've been in isolation and the self-prison thing. 'Cause that's kind of the plot for this is he's been in his own self-prison and isolation. He's coming out. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
What about you? What's your favorite go-tos?
I don't know if I have any favorite go-tos. Like we just started watching The Haunting of Bly Manor.
How's that?
Have you seen the Haunting of Hill House? Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
I think it's like so this one is like not as scary. It's like more character development. It's like it definitely but I really enjoy it like just like from a production standpoint. Like I really like the cinematography and the set design and just like the acting and everything, just like and I'm really thoroughly enjoying it right now. Like so we're just probably going to binge watch that tomorrow, and then also probably watch another Bleedingham Film Fest block. Just because like we watched the Washington State one just because like Alvin was in it and it was like of course, so I had to watch it, but we're probably going to watch maybe like some of the more like international. I think the cornucopia one, I think is what they called it, the cornucopia block.
Look that up.
But happy to share also Alvin with you too. Like I have it as part of a private link and can give you a password. So it's sci-fi thriller. No not really like predator like or alien creatures, but
doesn't matter to me. I love all that stuff.
That's cool. It just dawned on me that I'm supposed to watch this short that was sent to me, a horror short, and she just sent it. The director sent it to me today because it goes public Sunday. So I guess I have tomorrow or later tonight I could watch it too, I suppose, and do a little review. But go-tos. What am I going to watch tomorrow? So like some people, like you guys are talking about, they're streaming, Disney Plus stuff or Netflix or whatever, and I don't do any of that. I'm really archaic that way. So I only hear about these things. I don't really watch them. I only know about The Mandalorian and the second season and all that kind of thing. It sounds like something I would love, but for whatever reason, I have access to that stuff, but I just don't, especially during the pandemic, I haven't been watching a lot of TV. It's just been movies that I need to review for companies. But having said that, oh gosh, I will never get tired of Prince of Darkness from John Carpenter. That movie creeps the shit out of me. Even to this day, it's not a gross, gory kind of thing. It gets under my skin, and I love it. And I can say they kind of missed the boat. I haven't written my review yet, but I watched this movie called like the Dark and the Wicked, I want to say, but it's coming out this Friday the 6th, so they're kind of missing the Halloween boat. And I haven't had a horror type of movie give me chills in a long time, and that movie gave me chills a few different times during like and it's really simple. It's not gory at all, but it's one of those kind of things where it's like an evil presence that's kind of messing with his family on a farm. So it's a really basic premise, but it gets creepy. It gets really creepy, and that's supposed to come out next Friday, officially to the public, where you can stream it and that kind of thing. But for older things, I love Prince of Darkness, and I love Fright Night from 1985, not the remake. Yes. And I think, Christiana, were you here many years ago when we watched that? There was a time when we watched a couple of horror movies. I don't know if that was one of them, though.
I don't remember. You should, I'm terrible. Like, for someone who likes to make films, I am not a film buff. Like, I've probably watched The Departed 5 times and fallen asleep 5 times. I'm like that person. And then I watched it finally all the way through, on the 6th try, and I still don't remember what it was about. I don't know. There's just something wrong with me?
I'll watch the same film over and over and still just be enamored with it. Like I watched The Shining the other day.
Oh gosh,
I'm still just enamored with that film. Like I still love it. Jack Nicholson is just like, oh my God, he does so good in that, just playing creepy, just going mad person. But I think that's just him in real life, honestly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it really depends on like maybe the type of movies I grew up with, or like the ones that you really latch onto. And then it's like, oh, okay, you know, I could watch this over and over and over again, you know, and just, yeah. But then there are just like the other ones where I'm like, I know it's a good movie and I watched it all the way through, but I don't remember like what happened.
I see. I'm like Erica, that I will watch and rewatch film scenes. You can ask my family. It used to drive them nuts when I used to live at home when I was younger. That's like, why are you watching this again, or why are you watching this certain thing? And a lot of times I'm trying to figure out. At least now I can kind of dissect it. I was trying to figure out why I felt a certain way when I watched it. Why is it bring up this kind of emotion when you know this guy's shooting this guy or this kind of scene happens, and even with this stuff during the pandemic, I mean, with you know, the web series Life is Easy, I watched that thing like 20 different times. That's 8 episodes that I've watched, and every time I watch it, there's something new to me. And so I don't know where that comes from, but I'm fascinated by it. So I keep watching it. And say, there's something else here. So if I keep watching it again, I'll find something new in it again. And I can also think of like the original Hellraiser. I'll never get tired of. That it was such a groundbreaking film when it came out. I saw it in the theater, and even to this day, I still like it's so unique to me. You know, it's like a love story wrapped up in this weird, almost like metaphysical kind of thing, and you can't just watch it once and get it. People talk about Pinhead. Yeah, that's great, and Doug Bradley's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but there's so much more going on in that film. And when I try to dissect it, then at least back then in the days when I started doing photography stuff, it starts giving me ideas of how I want to shoot something. And I know I'm missing some other kind of Blu-ray or something else that I have that's horror slanted, but
Rocky Horror.
I've only seen Rocky Horror probably twice in my life. I know. I was at a convention where a good chunk of the cast was there, and obviously they had a line, you know, if people wanted to see them because that's a legendary film and the whole experience and everything. But I was kind of like, yeah, there they are. I know. I'm just kind of odd when it comes to that one. I love Aliens, though. Don't get me wrong. I love Predator. I love those 2 films. I met Sonny Landham, who was in Predator. He played the Native American guy. You know, who does that on his chest, and he's on the log and all that. And Aliens. Well, I met Michael Biehn from Aliens. Awesome. And he kind of comes across the way you would think he was. Like I don't want to say he's standoffish, but he looks like he could kick your ass. Like if you're not careful about what you say, because some people are so not their characters. You know, they're super warm and inviting. He was kind of like, yeah, you can talk to me, kind of a thing. But yeah, if you say the wrong word, then I'm just going to cut you off and go somewhere else, kind of a thing.
Wow.
And I've seen him actually at other places where I didn't go talk to him or interview him or anything, but he just kind of carries himself that way. But yeah, maybe he's had a bad experience for all I know, you know, from a fan way back when. But I see there's a local station here that is only playing Beetlejuice because Michael Keaton is from Pittsburgh. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
That's awesome.
I learned something from that. I know I saw some other, it wasn't really horror to me. It was called Triggered. It's another film that's coming out on November 6th. And it's more of it's like a group of 20-somethings that are out camping in the woods. And you think, oh, it's going to be like a slasher thing. It's nothing like that. They get basically gassed. And when they wake up, they've got these harnesses on them that have timers. And whoever's got the lowest time, eventually they're going to die. They're going to blow up or whatever. So it sounds like a Saw premise, but it's not that at all. It's more like sci-fi thriller kind of a thing, because then they start playing with your head about, since you're all friends and you all have different times, would you kill someone? Because if you kill that person and you're near them, you get their time. So then you live longer. And the one person that outlasts everybody, you're going to live. The vest is going to pop off of you. So that's the premise. So it really starts messing with people. Like, I would never do that in a million years. You know, you're my best friend from, you know, elementary school. When things start getting dicey, it's like, okay, I've got 2 minutes left, and I see that you've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That means I'm going to go. So should I kill you and take your time? That's what the whole thing is. It's really interesting. And there's some pretty sharp dialogue in it too. And I think one of Schwarzenegger's sons was in it, if I remember right, in the casting. But anytime I watch these things, I don't really look through all the press stuff they send me. I just watch the link. Just try to watch it fresh, watch it new, and then kind of see how it affects me. And those two movies back to back, it went from the creepy farm to the you're going to blow up if you don't kill your friend. were interesting films, but they're new. They're coming out in a week.
Check them out.
I saw the trailer. Looks good. Yeah. But I think I don't know why they didn't try to have that stuff come out today on the 30th. I mean, they missed the boat in terms of that genre. But you know, if you love horror stuff, you can watch it in the summer. Who cares? But for the average person, they're looking for stuff. Especially tomorrow, they're going to be looking for something. Yeah. But you know, Erica, you mentioned that you love Aliens. What do you think about the other films in that franchise?
I'm kind of hit and miss on it, honestly. But when Alien, what was the Alien Covenant, when it was coming out originally, it was released, or when it was first announced, they were saying it was going to be Newt and her story, as if she didn't die. It was going to be as if Alien 3 never happened, which I was stoked about because Alien 3 is my least favorite in the entire series. It honestly is. Aliens, absolutely my favorite. But I was stoked on this idea of Newt still being alive, and it was her story and where she's at now. But then they changed it to where it is now, to where it was another Prometheus and the final story in the Prometheus saga. It was still good, don't get me wrong, but nothing has matched up to Aliens yet. Like Aliens and Alien, I don't think anything will ever match up to what that was. Prometheus definitely had interesting qualities and a good backstory of where everything started, but it's no Aliens.
Yeah, I'm again totally dating myself, but I remember I was looking around for through like used stores, you know, for music and DVDs, and I don't even know if DVDs were around at that time, but I have a Laserdisc player, so I was one of those people, and at that time you couldn't get that extended version of Aliens until eventually they put it out. Though it has all those extra scenes about Newt's family and all that kind of thing. Yeah. But that Laserdisc box set it was 5 discs. So it's like, I don't know how expensive that fucking thing was, but I found it at this place down in Beer, and I remember it was used, and it was like $20. It was like they clearly didn't know what they had. So I'm like, yep, I'll take that. So I just remember watching that, thinking, God, there's so many cool things that they cut out of this final cut for Aliens that really expand the story and everything else, and gives much more emotional weight to Ripley's character of why she's so protective of Newt and all that kind of thing. And I was like, man, I hope they put this out, you know, somewhere down the line, and of course, you know, through DVD and Blu-ray or whatever, they have done that kind of version. But it's like, man, because sometimes you watch those extra scenes, you kind of like, yeah, there's a reason why they didn't put some of this stuff in there, because it didn't add to the film or the storytelling. But other times, those come to mind. I think the Lord of the Rings series comes to mind with the extended stuff. There's so many extra things going on. It's like, wow, this is actually better. Dances with Wolves, saying the long version of that. It's like, wow, this is even better than I thought the original was. But
yeah, I don't care if a movie's 4 or 5 hours. I'm going to watch it if it has the good story there. I'm going to watch it. I don't care.
Yep.
Those are marathons that I would definitely do.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Well, look, it's 10:38, so we are clearly the front runner, award winner, #1 time thing now. So yeah, to Erica and Christiana and Sony, who was with us earlier, and with Mariah that was with us. And this is interesting because the one that held the title, the same kind of thing happened. That we lost somebody during that. That's right. Kelsey lasted like over 2 hours, so she was hanging in there. And then she bounced out, but then actually Anissa was there, and then another person, and we just kind of kept going and got really silly about barbecue sauce and a bunch of because and I hope Anissa's okay, because this is not typical of her not to let me know that she couldn't do this. But she's really quirky about her food, her condiments, everything. So we kind of found out that stuff. So it's like, don't ever put We had the whole debate about pineapple on pizza, which is kind
My
of an old
favorite.
thing. Yeah, see, so I like it too. So did Carlos, but she's like, ugh. And then we start talking about like she loves barbecue, but not barbecue flavored thing like chips or whatever. She's like, ugh. So we were just kind of poking fun at her. But yeah, I don't know. I'm good, but if we want to keep going, we can, because again, I don't have anything on my schedule. I kind of do this by feel. And when people are kind of like, doing this or whatever, that's kind of, okay, maybe we need to stop. But if anyone else has anything else they want to bring up, or anyone in the chat that's still like Tony, that's way over on the East Coast, so it's getting kind of late for him. But
Thank you, Tony, for sticking around.
yeah, it's awesome for Tony and Captain Blackwood's still lurking about, and some of the other Alice
That's awesome.
folks. They are super supportive people, and I've said this more than once, that I'm so grateful that I've gotten a chance to know some of my fellow fans from Alice. They are amazing, just like the band. They have some amazing fans, and I'm a fan too.
That's
so
awesome.
I just found myself in this weird kind of in between. It's this interviewer opening their tour. That here I am a fan, but I'm also with them, doing behind the scenes stuff and all that kind of thing. But I'm not in the band, and it's kind of interesting. So yeah, it's 1:38 here in Pittsburgh, and Captain Blackwood's still there in Vegas. Yeah, and I know like when Dusty's come by, and he supports a lot of the bands through Bandcamp and everything like that. He tries to buy the music when he
Great.
can, and yeah, it's this has been one of the silver linings for sure about being able to connect with people virtually.
Yes.
And if I didn't have this, and I just had to kind of fend for myself, I don't really, because somebody asked me, said, what would you have done if you didn't get invited to the Alice tour? And I was like, I don't really know. I probably would have pursued the the movie reviews more, try to get more and more studios involved with what I do. But I wouldn't have thought of this.
Yeah.
I don't like, Erica, did you ever do like Skype reviews or anything, pre-pandemic with bands or any of that kind of stuff when they're offered to you?
I hate them. I honestly despise it. Like anything that has to do with writing or interviewing, I'm terrible at it. I am just awful. Shove me behind a camera and let me just stay in my own world. I can't do anything else. I can manage, I can do this, I can do that. I cannot write. I can't interview.
Okay. And for me, it was always like, well, I'd rather interview them in person. I didn't want to do this thing. So there was that other option, obviously, when the tour comes to Seattle, then you try to arrange that with the publicist.
Yeah.
And then when all this stuff happened, I'm like, well, I'm not going to be doing, when they say, oh, yeah, so-and-so is available for a Skype review or interviews. I'm like, well, that's not me. And then here I am.
Stuck with us.
Yes.
doing all this stuff. But no, it's great. And clearly, Christiana, I've invited back. It's always great, being one of my media artistic friends. And this has also told me that it doesn't matter where you go, I can still connect with you. So if you move to New York, you move to fucking London, I don't know, we move wherever.
Don't go to London.
Yeah.
There's still ways to do this, which is nice, and creating a community of wonderful people. That's the silver lining for me, that Tony says that. Yeah, it really is. And I know, so Tony's probably following some of the folks from Alice, like Christiana and Erica's work, and I do the exact same thing, just like a fan. If I see somebody that I didn't know who they were, then I said, well, they're pretty cool. I just start following them. That's probably one of the best things of social media. There's so much shit about it, but that's a plus of it. It's like, oh, here's a good person, and I can see what they're up to. And Christiana is always so supportive. There's good people out here. So, but
yes.
Thank you so much for doing this, and everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out on this 30th of October. I hope that you have a happy Halloween, whatever that looks like. If you're going to be kicking back and watching some films like the rest of us, for the most part on Saturday, I just hope that you stay safe, and that if you have time, if things go according to plan, next Friday at 7:00 p.m., I'll be back doing this again with Renee and Nicole and Cole, which will be Saturday for him in New Zealand. So, Erica and Christiana, thank you so much. Again, Sony, where you are, if you're watching this, and Mariah with Addie. What a cute puppy.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nisa, I hope that you're well. I'll be checking in with you as soon as I end this. So have a good night, everybody. Happy Halloween, and hopefully see you sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.